on demand on seattlesports.com, the Seattle Sports app, or wherever you listen to podcasts. This message brought to you by Ascend Hospitality Group, Famous Dave's, Ascend Prime, and Stanford's.
Innovation is at the heart of every Polestar car, and their electric SUV Polestar 3 is no different. From the intuitive infotainment system to its head-turning design, Polestar 3 is for drivers unwilling to compromise. That means merging a spacious, luxurious interior with the torque and handling of a sports car. Visit Polestar Bellevue today for end-of-year lease offers and book a test drive for Polestar 3 at polestarbellevue.com.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising! After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the warehouse club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know! Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, Video Only.
Have you tried the dining district at the Bellevue Collection? Grab lunch with friends. Meet up for happy hour, and stay for dinner and beyond. You can sample international flavors and local favorites from talented chefs. Try a new cocktail on a rooftop bar or watch the game with friends. And explore the lively nightlife scene. The Dining District at the Bellevue Collection, where your taste adventure begins. Learn more at bellevuecollection.com/dining district.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Happy Monday. Going to get the show started with a quick question for you guys. I'm going to keep an eye on the Mac and Jack's text line all day long. We're opening up phone lines at 1 p.m., trying to figure out what you guys feel most strongly about today. We were kind of settling on a couple different potential questions, a couple different angles for 1 p.m. So we're going to let you guys kind of take the lead here and tell us, like, what do you deeply care about today? What do you deeply want to talk about? So you have a couple hours to send those in, 866-979-3776, and then we'll go ahead and choose one of your suggestions, and we'll all talk about it. So you get to pick the 1 p.m. call. Right now, let's start with the Seattle Seahawks, who fell to the Vikings in Week 16. What the Seahawks need to happen to make the playoffs, plus what did we learn from a Week 16 loss to Minnesota? Bump, let's start with what we learned. You've talked about the Seahawks being a young team. Was that obvious to you in this one?
Yeah, most definitely. They're a competitive team. They're not a great team or a very good team yet. Competitive teams have very good moments, but then they have those moments where you realize, okay, you're not quite there yet. And if you were listening to the Mike McDonald show, that's exactly what he said. We're not quite there yet. When you have procedure penalties in the most crucial moments, when you're lining up offside, you're in the neutral zone, when you are false starting the last drive to potentially win the game, when you are not getting over the top in cover two type situations, those are the things that immature teams, the mistakes that they make. And that's what we saw. With all that being said, they still had a chance to win the game, 27-24.
Yeah.
And they did some good things. We're going to talk about the bad, don't get it twisted. But they did some good things. They're young. They have a young coach. They have a young staff that are trying to figure some things out. And it's all on your expectations. Like, what did you expect from this team? Obviously, I do the post-game show, and there are people just going in.
Were they like, was there a crowd by then around you guys for post-game?
No, we don't. No, they tucked us away in the corner.
Okay.
Don't nobody even go to our show no more. It's just me and the guys now. But they're going in. You know, they're frustrated. They're upset. And I go, yeah, you should be. You can feel that, and that's fine, because if your expectations were this team were to win 11, 12 games and you've seen them squander a few, then, yeah, I'd be frustrated too. I was frustrated for a good 10 minutes after the game. Like, dang, you had a chance to win a ball game against a 12-2 team and control your own destiny, and you didn't do it. So the emotion comes out. And then I gotta turn it off real quick because I got a post-game show in like 5 minutes after the game. But now I try to figure out why and how. Like, why and how they lose that game. And the first thing that jumps off to me are just the mistakes that they make in crucial times and how the Vikings capitalize on those mistakes. Right? You get a neutral zone infraction by Trey Brown. Next play, up top, touchdown on Trey Brown. You have a face mask by Byron Murphy. Next play, up top to Justin Jefferson. That's the difference between a mature team and a team that's trying to figure it out. The mature team isn't going to make those mistakes in those crucial moments. But the mature team, if you make those mistakes, we are going to capitalize on that thing. So there's a bunch of things that went down during this game, and we'll break down the specifics. Yep. But I saw it as the journey. My journey, I told them, I thought this is going to be a 9 to 10 win team maybe. And they give you a little bit of hope throughout the season to make you think there's a possibility that they could be more. And there was a possibility. You lose a couple games, close, you could be a 9-10 win team. But there's the destination of 9-10 wins, and then there's the journey that you take to get there. The journey is what jacks people up. I think a lot of people thought this was a 9-10 win team. But during the journey, you
let yourself believe.
You believe. You have some good moments. You see some big plays. You see some growth in the team, and then they bring you back to reality with a couple mistakes here and there where you lose a couple games. So the journey is what is jacking people up right now, and what jacked me up a little bit too. But at the end, the destination for me was still going to be the same, which was 9-10 wins.
I'm so glad you said that because I was trying to think of the right words to be like, why do I feel anything at all? Right? Like, if you were to ask me the exact same question, do you think the Seahawks will make first of all, if you were to ask me in week 1 who's winning the NFC West, I would have said San Francisco. So I would have been wrong, like many other analysts. I saw this as being San Francisco. I thought the Rams would be a very, very good offense and then a struggling defense. I was wrong about that too. Their defensive line is so much better than I thought it would be. But I thought it would be San Francisco 1, Rams 2, Seahawks, Cardinals. And I wasn't sure what to make of the Cardinals. So I would have said, no, I don't think they make the playoffs. I think that they can get 8, 9 wins. If they got 10, it would be a successful season. They could get 10 wins. Am I going to feel like it's a successful season if they, at this point, don't make the playoffs? No, I'm going to be bummed. I'm going to be upset. But why? Like, that's exactly how I felt myself thinking. It's like, if I, in week 1, said, I don't think they're making the playoffs, I think that they're building up to something with a new head coach, then why the heck do I feel upset right now? Like, why do I in any way feel angry? Why do I in any way have any kind of frustration watching this game? I would have told you before this game started they wouldn't beat the Vikings. Why am I upset they didn't beat the Vikings?
Because you had a chance.
Exactly.
You know what happens? This reminds me of my trip to a couple years ago. I decided, let's drive down to San Diego with the family. We're going to stop at all these places. You know what dads do. We got our schedules. We got our times. We're going to be on point, boom, boom, boom. And we hit the road, and we're making up time. We're ahead of schedule. And I'm like,
that's heaven
guys,
for a dad.
We are ahead of schedule right now. We're going to get to the Redwood Forest faster than we thought. And then you know what happened? Somebody got to go pee. Somebody threw up. Somebody is hungry, and then you get off a schedule. I'm like, dang, man, we're on our way. That's the season. You're looking, your first 3 games, we're almost to the Redwood Forest, guys.
Yep.
And then someone got to pee.
And then Geno hits you with, I threw up.
Yeah, I'm nauseous. Dad, can we stop? I just need some fresh air. And I'm like, all right, we got 10 minutes. We got 10 minutes. We got to get back on the road.
Make it tight.
And then it's 20 minutes. So that's the journey. And then you make up some more time. You win 4 games in a row.
Sure.
You make up more time.
Yes.
We went through the Redwood Forest, right? Now we're getting closer to San Diego. Like, we're almost there. We're going to be there 2 hours ahead of schedule, and then something else happens. This is what it is. The destination is always going to be the same for me when it came with this team. The destination was San Diego. And at one point, it looked like we were getting to San Diego in record time, and we were going to be good. And then you know what happened? We got there right when we were supposed to get there. That's the way I look at this team right now. They're getting to the place of 9-10 wins right when they're supposed to get there.
Wally from Snoqualmie, right in line with you, said you were passing all those trucks and then you see them passing you. That's exactly what this is.
Right.
The Rams were in, a 1-4 hole or like an 0-3 hole to the season or something crazy like that. You saw San Francisco get banged up. You beat them the second time around. You saw them fall out of this. You saw the Cardinals get eliminated. You were passing the trucks.
Passing the trucks.
You were passing all the trucks, and then you pulled over to the weight station, and you were standing there while your kid was in the bathroom looking at all these trucks passing you by once again. I mean, not the Cardinals and not the 49ers, but you're watching that big truck of the Rams pass you again going, why? I had miles on you.
I had a head start on you, man.
I had a head start.
I even gave you the honk the horn sign for the trucks.
I thought we were good. I thought you understood you were in second place. I thought that was our understanding. And instead now you don't control your own destiny. You don't control whether or not you get to the playoffs. Now, you are still alive, and in the last, 2 minutes, we'll talk about kind of what they need to happen. But I really love the analogy. It's fun. It makes me feel good on a Monday after a loss, but it also makes me realize that there is a frustrating aspect to being exactly the kind of team the Seahawks are right now. You are good enough at times to show me something that makes me believe, and you also have enough roster holes, enough youth, an inexperienced coaching staff to at times kick yourself and put yourself out of the race. And that can be so frustrating, particularly when I read you these texts off air because I thought that it was a good representation of how a good portion of fans might feel. But I was texting my fantasy football thread, and someone in the thread, I said, I can't believe anyone would call for Mike McDonald to be fired.
Yeah.
And someone in the thread said, well, I mean, from a fan perspective, you bring in a new head coach that's supposed to be brilliant, and fans kind of expect that there's going to be immediate success or that you're going to see a step forward. And what they saw is something that feels largely the same. But not only that, you're worse on special teams. You're still getting penalized. You have a worse record at home. So when you feel like you took a step back, there's going to be anxiety and tension and frustration.
Yeah, for sure. And I get the frustration because a lot of fans was drinking that Kool-Aid. They drank the whole pitcher of the Kool-Aid and thought Mike McDonald was going to come in here in 1 year, just change it all. And that's what's fun and what's great about being just a loyal fan, right? You buy into it. You think Peter's gone. Thank you for 14 years. We're good to go. Mike's going to come in and in 1 year switch it all up. I didn't think that was going to be possible. I don't think it's possible in general 1 year come in and switch things up because there's still leftovers in the refrigerator. There's still leftovers. That meatloaf is still there. You're looking at the meatloaf. Is it bad yet? I don't know. I got to test it out. I got to have a little bite of this meatloaf and see if I can still eat this or not. Those are some of the players on the roster. The meatloaf is still there, right? You're trying to see what do I still need from Thanksgiving going into Christmas and let's just get rid of it. That's the culture. That's the roster. That is some of the procedures. What can you bring over from Baltimore that's going to work? There are so many levels to this thing that need to go right for a team to be flipped all the way around in one season. So I didn't expect that. And if you did expect that, I love you, and you have just a great heart because you believed that in 1 year it was going to go that way. But then they also gave you something to believe in because they showed you sometimes that, all right, this offense can play well. Okay, this defense can stop the run. Okay, maybe we can get a 100-yard rush, 131 yards the other day from Zach Charbonnet. So those are the emotions that are going to happen. They're going to be ups and downs, smiles and frowns. And that is the season the Seahawks are having. Disappointing, though. You legit had a chance to beat the Vikings.
Here's what you guys have in store today. We are going to hear live from Mike McDonald at his Monday press conference. This is the last press conference, I believe, that certainly will be airing, but also some of the final updates we'll get before that Thursday night game against the Bears. We'll be live Thursday to keep you updated during the show ahead of that game, but you want to make sure you tune in at 12:30. If there's one or two things today that you have time to kind of set a little reminder in your phone and be like, let me check back into Bump and Stacy. 12:30 to hear those updates from Mike McDonald is going to be one of them. At 1 p.m., we're taking your calls. And again, we're still ironing out. I'm trying to see what people feel most passionately about today. I want today to be fun. I hate that the Seahawks lost, but I don't want to head into a fun holiday with everyone being like, great, I just feel worse. No, we're here to have fun. You have I'm a great time. Bump has amazing analysis, and we have so many questions I'm already getting for you, Bump, about Ryan Grubb, about play calling, about this offense, and we're going to jump into those at 10:30. So we have so much stuff coming your way. Let's quickly get to, I promised I would give you some playoff scenarios from Greg Rosenthal. He said, based on early calculations by NFL Research, the Rams would not clinch the NFC West by beating the Cardinals. However, this is the situation Seattle's in. The Rams would clinch with a win over the Cardinals, strength of victory tiebreak, which means that Seattle almost certainly needs a Rams loss to the Cardinals to have a realistic chance. Also, the Seahawks obviously have to win Thursday. So you need to beat the Bears, period. You need to obviously beat the Rams. That's what it's probably going to come down to. Best case scenario is the Cardinals beat the Rams. That is the thing that puts more back in your control. So.
And you know what? In seeing the Jets push the Rams the way that they did gave me a little bit more confidence in the Cardinals. We were saying this on our post-game show. We hate having to believe in Kyler Murray because we know how inconsistent he is. But look, the Rams aren't a perfect team. The Jets gave them all they could until the very last, couple of drives or whatnot. So there is a way where the Cardinals do come through with them. And you got to keep hope alive until you are mathematically eliminated from this thing.
Right.
You keep hope alive.
Which did not happen with this loss to the Vikings. So, again, it starts on Thursday. You need that win over the Bears. We're going to have a big preview show live on Thursday, including a game show, and then you're going to jump right into pregame with Bump. Again, that is a couple days away. Right now it's Monday, and we are going to figure out whether or not the Seahawks have a play-calling problem at 10:30. Before then, let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number one, the first ever expanded college football playoff went chalk in the first round. 4 home blowouts on Friday and Saturday. What's the real headline?
Sure, but the SEC went undefeated in hypothetical matchups.
That's right.
That's important, is all us Bama fans out here, we're talking about, well, if Bama would have played Notre Dame. In some weird world. Right, but if Bama would have.
Bama lost to 6-win Oklahoma and 7-win Vandy.
You know, but that was a strong Vandy team at the time. You know what I mean? This is the game Paul Feinbaum plays every single Saturday. It's just,
And I asked for one thing during this playoff, that SMU did not embarrass us.
Okay.
And that's exactly what they did. They embarrassed us. Man, their quarterback threw 2 pick sixes. I believe it was 96 yards or something of total yards in those interceptions. Penn State did what they were supposed to do. They didn't throw 1 passing touchdown, 3 rushing touchdowns, and you get some touchdowns on defense. Wasn't a great day for SMU. I asked for one thing, not to embarrass me in front of my friends. You did exactly that, but you know what? So be it. I don't care, Bama. Y'all keep crying. Next year, you'll probably get in. Notre Dame and Indiana, it was a 10-point loss, not a blowout, but not a close game either. It is what it is. I think next year they're going to make some adjustments. They're going to reseed some guys because it's crazy to me that Tennessee gets blown out by Ohio State. Ohio State now has to play Oregon. That should be a semifinal matchup for sure. Arizona State is taking on Texas. That's going to be the next interesting one for me. How real is Arizona State? Texas, we know what they got over there. Notre Dame, Georgia is going to be a good one. They have Penn State, Boise State. Can Ashton Genty be that guy and take down Penn State?
So I have the feeling about Boise State that you had about SMU, which is I'm like, Boise State, listen. You have a lot of people going, a school like this doesn't really deserve to be hosting a game and have that home field advantage. You would not be in this if it was still a 4-team playoff because you're just not at the same caliber of these huge programs, which I completely understand. I get it, but I kind of want Boise State to continue to prove itself, but I, like you, have that fear of dang.
If they can lose this game, but they better not get blown out. They better look competitive. It better be like a 1-score game or something like that.
Yeah, don't let this be the first game where Ashton Genty has 60 yards.
I need him to go get Barry's record, man.
Please do.
Go get it,
if
Ashton.
Nothing else. What's next?
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, to no one's surprise, Steve Belichick will reportedly be leaving Washington to become North Carolina's defensive coordinator on his dad's new staff. What's the real headline?
Yeah, I'd expect nothing less from a nepo baby. I have no better joke to make and no real joke to make other than what did you expect? Steve Belichick, and this isn't to take away, Kyle Shanahan's a Nepo baby. There are lots of Nepo babies that, particularly in football, they grew up watching the game and learning about the game and hearing from some of the game's best minds. So, yeah, that ends up being a place where they succeed. But is anyone shocked in any way that this happened?
Nah, it's the family business. I got a company. If my son wants it, when he's ready, I'm going to hand it over to him and say, go ahead, son, do your thing. You got the Belichicks, you got the Carrolls, you got the Shanahans, you got the Joneses. Like, this is what happens in business and life and in the NFL. We knew this was going to go down. It seems like he even snatched a young linebacker from UW as well to go with him. I wonder what the tampering thing is going to be like. Is there even tampering in college football? We heard Coach Dicker say when he was a Coug that there are no rules. So who knows what young Belichick is doing when it comes to getting players to North Carolina. But I am so interested in ACC football this year or next year because of Bill Belichick. Is he going to go over there and just run this thing? Miami was good this year. Syracuse was good this year. ACC is going to be decent. What is North Carolina going to look like?
A question before we move on to the next one, just a fun one. None of our parents work in radio, in media, or in sports.
That was a Marine.
If you were a Nepo baby, what would your job be? Meaning it would be a version of one of your parents' jobs. What would your Nepo baby, what would Michael Bumpus's Nepo baby job have been?
I'd be a Marine, and I'd jump all the way to like sergeants fairly quickly. My mom, she handled contracts for the county, so
government
Nepo be on some
baby.
Government stuff, yeah.
Curtis,
a pharmacist.
Yeah, there'd be like
street pharmacist.
Yeah, they'd be like Curtis Rogers only here, pharmacist Nepo baby. I'd be a
pharmacist on the top step.
Yeah, my dad was a bartender. And so I'd be, flipping Nepo baby, flipping bottles at the bar. And then my mom works in a purchasing with Alaska Airlines. So I'd be an airport Nepo baby.
Free flights, though.
Yeah. Let me tell you what. That's actually true. Stand by.
That's a heck of a perk.
That's a heck of a perk. It's for any, I don't know what they do now, but Alaska Airlines, that's a great perk to have. What's next?
Headline rewrites.
Some free agency news. Walker Buehler and the Red Sox agreed to a one-year, $21 million deal. What's the real headline?
The Mariners aren't just watching first basemen go off the board. They're also losing out on trade opportunities. That's why this headline matters, Bump, to fans, is the Red Sox were a team to which you could potentially deal Luis Castillo. They don't need that as much anymore.
The Mariners are doing something called, the slow game, Like when my wife, I met her years ago, and I played it slow. I waited a couple days before I shot my shot. That's what it feels like the Mariners are doing, but they shouldn't be doing it. You should be making moves at this point. I'm getting texts from my friends and everyone else. What are the Mariners doing? They're just sitting around. It has to be frustrating for the diehards to sit there and watch everyone else get better, take care of needs, try to do something for their future, and it feels like the Mariners are just waiting. What are you waiting for? What is that notebook? What do you want?
What do you want?
I don't know. What do you want?
If I'm a bird, say you're a bird. If I'm a bird, you're a bird. Someone said, we were all thinking, what would your Nepo baby job be if you were actually a Nepo baby? Someone said, I'd be the Auditor General for the state of Florida.
Ooh-wee.
Oh, wow. That sounds important. I don't really know what that is.
Hey,
but it
someone
sounds like
also
a big deal.
texted in, Matt is a Nepo baby.
True.
His dad's in radio.
Very true.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish Matt was here. Brady, you're not a Nepo baby, are you?
Not even close.
What would your Nepo baby job be?
I would be a person who designs software applications for doctors to access patient files faster.
Lame.
Trust me.
Well, actually, I would
never
sleep
get
back here.
There's
Everyone be quiet. I'm reading a book.
There would be a lot of issues if I was actually in that profession.
We're so mean.
Oh, man. That's how we show love.
It truly, I think bullying makes you stronger, like as the bully. It makes you better at bullying. Speaking of the Mariners, Bump, that idea of what do you want? Well, we got some insight from Ken Rosenthal as to what their big offseason approach has been. You kind of got a wrench thrown into it, though, with a recent signing. So coming up at 10:45, we'll talk about what happened for the Mariners over the weekend. They're running out of some options, who remains available, and that really interesting nugget about what they'd been pursuing from Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic. Before we get to any of that, for the last 2 weeks at least, and certainly for the last 24 hours, I have been hearing a ton of people talk about whether Ryan Grubb is the right guy for the Seahawks. And that's not just fans. I'm talking analysts, reporters, lots of people. Do the Seahawks have a play calling issue? That's just minutes away on Bump and Stacy.
Fires, back shoulder, end zone, touchdown, Seahawks, Barner.
With only 2 games left, the Seahawks head to the Windy City for Thursday Night Football.
An absolute laser thrown out of a bazooka from Geno Smith.
Seahawks, Bears.
Throw down the middle, JSN, what a catch over the shoulder between two defenders.
Kickoff at 5:15, pregame starting at 2 on your home for the Hawks, Seattle Sports.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
The Pacific Northwest is the perfect backdrop for the holiday season. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law reminds us that the roadways don't always agree.
It's that combination of additional travel, changes in routine, and winter weather that make this the most dangerous time of the year to be behind the wheel.
Any safety tips to help commuters keep the holidays joyful?
The number one cause of accidents remains distracted driving, even during the holidays. So store that cell phone in a place that eliminates temptation. It's imperative we set the example for our teens. Also, be aware of abrupt changes in the weather and prepare for it. Sometimes it's as simple as allowing additional distance for following or stopping. Lastly, make sure your vehicle is properly maintained for winter.
That includes four-wheel drive and chains when required at the pass. Please follow these safety precautions from my good friends at Pendergast Law and keep you and your neighbors safe this holiday season.
Happy holidays from all of us at Pendergast Law.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Hey, I'm Brett Podolsky, co-founder of The Farmer's Dog. We make fresh food for dogs. We started the company when we saw what a huge difference it made in my own dog, Jada, when she stopped eating ultra-processed kibble and started eating fresh, whole food. The Farmer's Dog food isn't fancy. It's just real food delivered to your door in pre-portioned packs. It's better for them and easier for you.
Get 50% off your first box at thefarmersdog.com/trial50. That's thefarmersdog.com/trial50.
We expect our information in real time. US Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 888-665-0696 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check as easy as... That's 888-665-0696.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
With all due respect to the Vikings, who are a very good team.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
They are a very good team, and I obviously did not give Sam Darnold enough credit. He didn't turn into the Sam Darnold of old the way I was hoping. The Seahawks beat themselves more than I think the Vikings beat them.
Yeah, they had a chance to win that one, and so I would say I agree with you. There were so many little things that just kept chipping away at them.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Cougs versus everybody. Washington State heads to San Diego on Friday, December 27th to face Syracuse in the 2024 Holiday Bowl. Kickoff at Snapdragon Stadium set for 5 p.m. Pregame starts at 3 on your home for Cougar football. AM 770 KTTH.
Chronic pain can be so life-changing that it causes depression. The effects can strain relationships and tear families apart. If chronic pain is impacting you or someone you love, don't wait to get help. I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. If your family is missing the person they once knew, schedule a free consultation to learn if our non-surgical and drug-free approach could help you get your life back. At Sound Pain Solutions, we've treated thousands of patients suffering from neuropathy, neck and back pain, and complex joint problems. Our personalized treatments include state-of-the-art technology like bioelectric therapy, laser, regenerative injections, pressure wave treatment, and others that stimulate healing naturally. Get a new focus on your family and the activities you enjoy, not your pain, medications, and limitations. To learn if you qualify for our non-surgical and drug-free treatment, call us at Sound Pain Solutions or visit soundpainsolutions.com.
Still need the perfect gift? Shane Company is open today on Christmas Eve. Come choose from our wide selection of classic pieces and on-trend gifts in every price range. We even have the ultimate gift for your special someone. Hint, hint. We'll help make that holiday proposal happen with a beautiful, perfectly preset engagement ring. At Shane Company, every gift is crafted with care to our high-quality standards. Our stores are open today on Christmas Eve until 5 p.m. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe. From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Easily the top question I've gotten on the Mac and Jack's text line this morning has been, is Ryan Grubb in over his head? And Bump, there are a lot of different versions of that question. Some people saying, hey, is Ryan Grubb, do you see him developing as the year's gone on? Someone else saying, hey, is the reason Ryan Grubb isn't running a ton because of the offensive line? Someone else just said, like, hey, is Ryan Grubb the right guy? I'm having doubts. So versions of that question, but some concerns about play calling, clearly from Seahawks fans. Do they have a problem? Let's talk first about what we saw in terms of play calling in this game. Before we take a step back too much and talk about, like, hey, here's what I think about Grubb, here's why I think. What did we make of play calling in this game against the Vikings?
The disappointing part about the play calling was that you felt like he was going to lean into the run like he did against the Cardinals, right? That's when Zach Charbonnet had his 131-yard game. And they ran a lot of pin and pull, which is counter stuff. So what that means is, say, the right side of the offensive line, including the center, they all block down. And then the left side kind of pulls around. You kick out the end. You get to the linebacker, and it just, that's what's gap scheme. It creates these lanes for the running back to find. When you do just a duo or a zone type of scheme, you're allowing the back to kind of pick and choose where he wants to go. And I think that's where some people have become frustrated with K9. They feel like he ain't picking the right gap to run through or is looking for the cutback. So I think the most disappointing part for most was that the running backs didn't touch the ball the way you thought they would touch the football. We also got to point out that the Vikings have the second best run defense in the game. That probably had something to do with it. It's all about matchups. When you are throwing the football, and listen, I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling y'all what football is, okay? When you are throwing the football, you can manipulate what the secondary is doing with your route combinations, with your spacing, with your depth, with all that good stuff. When it comes to running the football, you're not manipulating anything. You're saying my bigs are better than your bigs. We're going to be able to execute that. Now, they might load the box in clear running situations and make things more difficult for you. You're never going to have enough guys to block everybody in the box. You're going to have your running back make a play. But when it comes to running the football, it's just, can my bigs beat their bigs and their linebackers? And that influences play calling. So the most disappointing part for me, and I think for a lot of people, was that the run game wasn't even tried, or he didn't even try to get the run game popping the way you thought. 15 carries, 59 yards. You had 8 carries for Ken Walker, 3 carries for McIntosh, 1 carry for Zach Charbonnet. I think that is what frustrates most people and what concerned me after my first reaction leaving the stadium.
I was getting into a debate with some friends about this earlier this morning, same group thread. Shout out League of Corruption. And
that's the name of the league.
That's the name of the league, because every year we accuse each other of corruption and of collusion. So the debate that was happening this morning is whether or not Ryan Grubb, in general in the offense, is the victim of a bad offensive line, or whether having a bad offensive line should not necessarily be standing, like whether bad play calling, bad decision making, maybe an over-reliance on certain things can't be excused away by an offensive line. Now, I don't think, and you and I were talking about this, you aren't becoming like a real Super Bowl contender until you fix the line. You're just not. There is not a single team that is going to be in the Super Bowl, in the playoffs, that is going to have an offensive line that is a bottom 5. You've mentioned this, like a bottom 5 offensive line. It's just so fundamental to successful football. But I guess what I'm stuck on, Bump, is like, but I think there are teams that are also bad that might still try to run and might still, like, I'm confused about whether Ryan Grubb is looking at the line going, well, I'm not even going to try.
Right.
Like, that's what I don't get.
And that I wish I could ask him that and have a candid conversation, but of course he's not going to spill the beans to me or anybody else. But personnel influences everything that you do. There's a reason why he's throwing the football as much as he's throwing it, because that's where the most reliable playmakers are. Maybe your offensive line gives you more of a chance in pass pro than they do in the run game. And it's matchup. It's week by week. You look at the Minnesota Vikings, I told y'all, those linebackers are going to be going nuts. You're going to get blitzed from everywhere. It's going to be going crazy. So after watching the film and using that logic and seeing that Brian Flores did exactly what I thought he was going to do, which is blitz like crazy, what opens up when you blitz like crazy? The second level, the middle of the field. And if you look at the way Grubb was attacking the defense, he was attacking that middle of the field. He was attacking the places that they were sending guys from. So the logic behind it makes sense to me. I still feel like there are some times that you just need to be stubborn with it and just run the football and say, so what? And the toughest part about it is I'm looking at a screenshot right now. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 guys walk down on the line of scrimmage. 7 guys walk down. So say you want to do your pin and your pull, right? That counter look that hit so efficiently against the Cardinals, it ain't going to work because guys are in those gaps right now. Your best bet is try to do a duo. It's just tough like that. You got to take what the defense is giving you. But I also think sometimes you have to just be stubborn with it. The second to last drive, I was frustrated, right? I leave the press box. I go set up for the post game. And I'm frustrated. And obviously, I don't have the all-22 yet, so I'm going off of what I think happened. And my sentiment was, why didn't he run the ball just one time?
Yeah.
Like, why didn't he run it? And then, Stacey, I'll go back and I watch the film, and y'all going to hate this. He was taking what the defense was giving him. You know what happened? First play, you got an 18-yard pass to the middle of the field on the angle route by Noah Fant. Why was he butt naked on a Sunday? Because they blitzed. Next play, 15-yard pass to McIntosh. Geno does a great job seeing the blitz off the edge. You hit it where they came from. Boom, you got a 15-yard gain. This is the one where people were tripping, right? You got a sack. Geno takes a sack.
And this was killer.
The stunt that they ran was one of the best stunts I've seen all year. You got 2 linebackers to the left side, all right, and you overwhelm the right side of that offensive line. If DK sits in the middle of the field, just sits down, right? And they have that chemistry that him and JSN seem to have. DK's running an in route. So the blitz is coming from the right side, all right, and DK's in the slot. He gets vertical about 10 or 15 yards, and he cuts in. There's space and opportunity. Why? Because they're blitzing off of that side. And the tendency from the Vikings is that they blitz on those early downs. So I'm assuming, I'm thinking this is what Grubb is thinking. They're going to blitz on these early downs. We're going to attack the middle of the field, and we'll be fine. If DK sits down, it is a first down, and we're not even talking about this. So now it's 2nd and 17. Now you got man coverage. There's an incompletion of DK. Nobody was open. Their players made a play, and DK and Jason didn't. They did not get open. The route running was not great on that play. And 3rd down, a check down to Charbonnet. They're manned up again. When it came to man coverage, the Vikings locked us down. I'm watching this film, locked us down. No one has more than a half a step on anybody. So would I have loved to see a run in that moment? Most definitely. But after watching the film and seeing what the Vikings are doing and seeing how Grubb is attacking them, I put my hands up and I say, all right, it's like living and dying by the 3. Right? The Golden State Warriors are going to shoot 53s a game. Sometimes it's going to work. Sometimes it's not going to work. But I understand what he's thinking after looking at the film. So you can have your feelings about what Grubb did. You can say he should have ran that football. But if you don't understand If you don't look at all 22 and you don't understand exactly what the Vikings are doing and then understand why he would call those plays, then we can't have a conversation, all right? I want him to run the football too. I would have preferred. But also, just like the right wing and the left wing, I don't agree with one side all the time. I don't agree with the other side all the time. But what I do is I sit there in the middle and I try to understand the perspective and where they're coming from. That's what I'm doing with Grubb right here. They're aggressive. He threw into the places they were blitzing from. If the receivers win their routes, if they run tight routes and win, everyone's giving Grubb all the praise in the world.
That's very interesting because I had that Geno taking the sack is one of the things that I've written down about, like, coming up at 11.
Last thing, one more thing.
Oh, yeah.
Geno tries to throw to DK. He looks to the left, nothing's there. He raises his arm like he's going to throw it to DK. DK drifts into the safety. He's like, dang, I can't throw this interception. Takes a sack.
I think maybe what's happening is we're combining a step back and looking at what we'd like to see more of from this offense. Like, I don't think this offense has much of a counterpunch, and I don't think they're that physical. And then maybe applying it to these specific moments. Oh, if only they would have run here. You know, this is where this issue they have of not being able to gain short yardage or not being able to run the ball or not being willing to run the ball is coming up. And you're saying, well, wait a minute. You can't always apply that because in this moment, I see why he's making the decision, and the thing he's trying to get is there.
Yep.
It's just on the player to stop moving.
Yeah, it's chemistry, man. That last play, the play I'm talking about with DK going to the middle, it's just chemistry. Maybe DK didn't feel the safety, and Geno's read took him left first, but he gets back to DK on time, but they just were not on the same page.
We may well, and I'm running out of time here. You know what? I'm actually going to save this question. I'm not done talking about play calling, and I don't think listeners are either. I'm still getting a ton of questions about it. So we'll get back to this a little bit later. We're going to get back to the Seahawks at 11, talking about these Week 16 turning points. I wrote down 4 plays. I'm going to have Bump dissect these plays, tell us what went wrong, what went right, kind of how they affect the game. And the goal of this entire thing is to figure out how close the Seahawks were to winning, what tweaks they could make, how far they are away from being a contender. Like, what really is the story of this game based on these 4 plays? That's coming up at 11. We do need to talk about the Mariners first, though. They are quickly, the Mariners, running out of options at first base. So we're going to figure out who's left and what they need to do. You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
With all due respect to the Vikings, who are a very good team.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
They are a very good team, and I obviously did not give Sam Darnold enough credit. He didn't turn into the Sam Darnold of old the way I was hoping. The Seahawks beat themselves more than I think the Vikings beat them.
Yeah, they had a chance to win that one. And so I would say I agree with you. There were so many little things that just kept chipping away at them.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
My wife and I always loved doing everything together. Jiu-jitsu, kayaking, and intimacy was always on point. It was around my early 30s when I noticed a downward trend. Watching a lot of TV, putting on weight, and just full of self-doubt. I had tried another men's clinic with disappointing results. It's the personalized treatment I receive at Revive Men's Health that has been the complete game changer for me. I've got my energy and motivation back. I'm feeling stronger than I did in my 20s, and it made me a much better husband to my wife.
This is Dr. Andrew Elshouse of Revive Men's Health. If you're always feeling tired or moody, or your sleep is poor, you have low libido, you may be suffering from low testosterone.
Book your free T-check and exam. Call Revive Men's Health Seattle at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, then great news. Good news. Your coworker Kyle said bundling home and auto insurance with Progressive could save you money. Bad news. While saying this, Kyle was eating your clearly labeled lunch. Dumb news. Pizza near work costs $7 a slice, and it tastes like drywall covered in ketchup. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and enjoy more lunches far away from Kyle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
We know you have a lot on your holiday to-do list. And at the UPS store, we're here to help. With our pack and ship guarantee, your gifts will arrive intact or you'll be reimbursed. Got holiday cards to print? We're also the premier printing store. We've got everything you need for every way you holiday. Visit the upsstore.com/guarantee for full details. Most locations are independently owned. Product services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS store. Be unstoppable. Come into your local store today.
Polestar 3 is the electric SUV for drivers unwilling to compromise. That means merging a spacious interior with the torque and handling of a sports car. Visit Polestar Bellevue today for end-of-year lease offers and book a test drive at polestarbellevue.com.
After years of wear and tear, Joe had osteoarthritis in his wrists and shoulders.
I've pretty much worked out my whole life. I actually decided I'm going to train for a half Ironman triathlon.
The pain was interfering with every part of his life.
Basically, can't sleep, causing those kind of problems, very limited movement.
Joe had surgery, but it wasn't the fix he was looking for.
The doctor told me, he's like, hey, this is just going to be a partial fix. You're going to eventually need joint replacement.
That's when he decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
And they're just getting better. I can basically do full motion. I don't have really any pain.
What kinds of things are you able to do now that you weren't before?
I like to golf, and it definitely has made my golf game not as painful. And sleeping. I'm sleeping better because I don't have that aching at night going on and having to roll over.
So, are you recommending this to others?
Oh, everybody I talk to. Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Fires, back shoulder, end zone, touchdown, Seahawks, Barner.
With only 2 games left, the Seahawks head to the Windy City for Thursday Night Football.
An absolute laser thrown out of a bazooka from Geno Smith.
Seahawks, Bears.
Throw down the middle, JSN, what a catch over the shoulder between two defenders.
Kickoff at 5:15, pregame starting at 2 on your home for the Hawks, Seattle Sports.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY, and I want to talk to you about the holidays. They're a time for friends, family, good food, and ugly sweaters. But they're also when cops are out in full force, looking to pull you over and find evidence of DUI. During the holiday months at 1-800-DUI-AWAY, we see DUI arrests skyrocket. So if instead of carolers coming to your house, it's a summons to court, call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. We have over 25 years of experience keeping the holidays joyous, because too much of Grandma Betty's eggnog can easily take you on a midnight sleigh ride to jail. Call 1-800-DUI-AWAY or go to 1-800-DUI-AWAY.com to set up a free private consultation in Seattle, Bellevue, Everett, or Tacoma. Don't drink and drive this holiday season, because if you're caught driving with a nose too red and cheeks too jolly, you'll be calling 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
1-800-DUI-AWAY!
Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. The best place to watch all your favorite sports. Featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, 6 windows, and 30 kiosks. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The Mike McDonald Show, the first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
We want to play a certain way, and you're just going to chisel away at it every day.
Presented by Emerald Queen Casino.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
One interesting nugget and a few updates on the first baseman market. Let's get started, Bump. First, that interesting nugget. This is from Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic, who reported on Carlos Santana's deal with the Guardians on Friday. He said the Mariners were in hot pursuit. I know that this story broke, and you and Curtis talked about it a bit. The Mariners reportedly offered Santana a year deal with a player option for a second season and more guaranteed money than Cleveland. Rosenthal said, quote, the Mariners sought to reunite with him virtually the entire offseason and were pushing for a resolution. So if you've been wondering, what have the Mariners been doing? according to Ken Rosenthal, pursuing Carlos Santana was at the top of that list. They were initially Santana's top priority because he's tight with Julio, but Cleveland offered him and he couldn't stay away. That's just, he wanted to be there. He had sold his house like the day before getting that call, and so it was easy to just decide to stay there. There's an emotional connection, whatever. So before we get to the names off the market now and the names still available, how do you feel knowing from Ken Rosenthal that Carlos Santana was maybe Seattle's top priority and that they had been heavily pursuing him up until Friday?
It doesn't make me feel great. It makes me feel like Carlos looked at the situation and said, no, thank you. He goes, I'm going to go play in a familiar place where I feel like I can hit. That's the thing I think of when it comes down to these situations. Players they got to look out for their best interest, whether that be the relationship with upper management or just the perception, or I don't know if it's a perception anymore, the reality of playing baseball in Seattle. You're going to start off slow. It's going to be cold, the batter's eye, all that good stuff. They're probably not set up to have a lot of success. And in Carlos' situation, he just wants to be comfortable. He wants to be, he's on the back nine of his career. He wants to go to a place where it just feels right. And I think vibes have a lot to do with it. And where do vibes come from? The clubhouse, the managers, the presidents, all that stuff, all the above. We know it's going to be tough to get guys who want to come here. And I think when you lose a guy like Carlos Santana, a guy who was immediately embraced here, a guy who started the celebrations that we still do till this day, it says something. It says something about the environment. It says something about the direction of this program, and it's unfortunate because I would love to have Carlos back.
I would have loved to have Carlos back. I also would love for the Mariners to add an impact bat, and they are quickly running out of options. Now off the market via free agency or trade. Nathaniel Lowe, Christian Walker, Josh Naylor, Carlos Santana, mentioned above. The only first baseman available in free agency that would make you better the moment he signs is Pete Alonso. Curtis, you noted this. You were like, the only person that you as a Mariners fan, Curtis Rogers, would get super excited about would be Pete Alonso. How realistic does that feel?
It doesn't feel realistic at all, especially when we see the reports of the Mariners have like $15, $16 million to spend, and you're seeing guys like Paul Goldschmidt come off the board with like $12 million. Carlos Santana, same thing. Like Alonso's dollar figure is going to be north of like $20, $21, $22 million, and that's just not.
Their budget might be 15.
Right. It might be that. We don't even know if it's even that. And like, if Pete Alonso's making north of $20+ million each year, like that's a ballpark the Mariners just are not going to play in. They want nothing to do with a dollar figure like that for a first baseman, which stinks because like you're looking for guys that can hit in any ballpark, and I get that Alonso is not going to wow you with his batting average, but that power will play anywhere. That power will play at T-Mobile Park, just as it has at Citi Field, another extreme pitcher's paradise.
Bump, does it feel inevitable that Justin Turner is the Mariners' option there?
Yep.
How do you feel about it?
Nah.
The same way you'd feel about Carlos Santana?
Yeah, pretty much. Familiarity, because you know what you're going to get out of them. This is the most disappointing part of this whole thing is let's give them some benefit of the doubt. Okay. They called their agents. I would assume that the Mariners called everyone's agent and they were respectfully declined because of the money situation and all of the above. Sometimes you just got your hands tied. Who's tying the hands, though? And then is it the ownership as far as what they can spend? Is it DePoto with his approach? Like, what is it? But I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, look, they tried to go after all these players. But if you keep getting declined, you keep getting declined and rejected, sometimes you're not going to go for the dime piece. You don't go for the 6 piece, the 7, because we can't get no dime. That's what it feels like. We're not even getting an 8 piece right now, 7 piece. We down to the 6 piece. So I will assume that they made those calls, but the Mariners organization, when it comes to leadership, the direction, the facilities, is not where players want to be.
A question for both of you as we enter the final minute. And Bump, I'll start with you, but just like the same question, and I'll wrap up too. where's this impact coming from then? Let's assume Justin Turner is signed as your veteran that you're bringing in at first base, and you've got a platoon there with Raley, and that's your first base situation. Let's assume that you're going kind of platoon style at second, and Dylan Moore is your second baseman. So where's the impact going? Where's it coming from? Not even like who might it be, but like where's that impact coming from then?
Impact on the diamond? It's the same thing. You're relying on your rotation, and you're hoping that your utility guys have the runs that Swaggerty had at one moment, that Demo had.
Surprise season.
Kyle Lewis had back in the day. That's what it seems like this team is built off of. All right, good pitching. Hey, utility guys, help us out. Mm-hmm. But if Julio Rodriguez does not play like an all-star, no chance.
Curtis, where would that impact have to be at?
It just kind of feels like they're hoping that the guys on the roster can outplay their career results.
Sounds
it feels
familiar.
like they're just hoping for a surprise season from a guy like Ryan Bliss or something like that. It doesn't feel like the impact is going to be an outside addition.
No, I think that the most hopeful people among us, the most optimistic glass half full people are looking at like an Alex Bregman going, well, you never know. Maybe the Mariners end up adding this free agent. But it feels like that was going to come from first base. And it is clearly not, because those options are gone. So unless there's a trade that's going to shock us, it sounds very much like it's going to be less than stellar additions at your infield where you needed someone at all three spots. And that they are, like you, Bump, and you, Curtis, said, going to look to Julio and said, can you play like an MVP now? Can you play like an MVP in April or May or June maybe? Hey, JP, can you look a bit more like 2022, 2023? JP Crawford, 2023? Like, it feels like that's what it's going to have to be. It's probably why they were so hesitant to deal any of those arms, knowing that's what they'd have to be leaning on. I don't know. I am begging this team. That's my Christmas wish. Please add someone, anyone. I would just love to be able to talk about it. Coming up next, we're getting back to the Seahawks. There are four plays that tell the story of this game and maybe also tell the story of the 2024 Seahawks. How close was this one to being a win, and what tweaks could turn this team into a contender? That's next. Don't go anywhere.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
I put that loss on them. I know Minnesota's a good team, and I know that Darnold's playing well, and that's fine. Yep. They lost that game. That's how I saw it.
You became completely, once again, one-dimensional, right? You throw it 43 times, and you run it 15.
I don't even see how that's at
43 to 15. That works in Conference USA. That works in college football. That does not work in late December pushing for a playoff spot. It just never does.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Well, Black Friday and Cyber Monday might be over, but it's the season of savings at all 6 Harnish Auto Family dealerships. Take the driver's seat to savings while supplies last on all 2024 models. The Harnish Auto Family has 22 acres of inventory filled with the most popular trucks, SUVs, EVs, and cars from the brands you know and love. Visit HarnishAutoFamily.com or head to Chevrolet and Kia of Everett or Volkswagen, Subaru, and Chevrolet Buick GMC at Puyallup and tell them I sent you. We are the Harnish Auto Family, where people matter.
Mariners single game tickets for 2025 are on sale now. The squad will be back in action before you know it. And now's the time to lock in your seats for the biggest games next season. Don't miss opening day on March 27th. Incredible giveaways like the Julio Bat Flip Bubble and matchups versus the Dodgers, Yankees, and more. Plus, check out 30 value games with tickets starting at just $10. Go to Mariners.com to get your tickets today.
A deep blast. This is gone.
Do you leave your car running unoccupied to warm up or stay warm during the winter? Don't do it. Car thieves call those steamers. They're watching for you and they'll steal your car before you know it. Every winter, Washington sees an uptick in auto theft, and a major reason is steamers. Share this information with friends and family. Prevent the theft and keep you and your vehicle safe. Don't get caught with your car running. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
The Pacific Northwest is the perfect backdrop for the holiday season. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law reminds us that the roadways don't always agree.
It's that combination of additional travel, changes in routine, and winter weather that make this the most dangerous time of the year to be behind the wheel.
Any safety tips to help commuters keep the holidays joyful?
The number one cause of accidents remains distracted driving, even during the holidays. So store that cell phone in a place that eliminates temptation. It's imperative we set the example for our teens. Also, be aware of abrupt changes in the weather and prepare for it. Sometimes it's as simple as allowing additional distance for following or stopping. Lastly, make sure your vehicle is properly maintained for winter.
That includes four-wheel drive and chains when required at the pass. Please follow these safety precautions from my good friends at Pendergast Law and keep you and your neighbors safe this holiday season.
Happy holidays from all of us at Pendergast Law.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
On behalf of KIRO News Radio, Seattle Sports, and Treehouse, thank you to everyone who helped make the 36th year of Holiday Magic truly magical.
This is the best part of our entire year here at KIRO. We don't have to do any bad news. It's all good news. It's you.
Holiday Magic may have ended, but the season of giving has not. You can still donate to Treehouse by going to mynorthwest.com/Holiday Magic. Thank you for serving Treehouse, and happy holidays.
We know you have a lot on your holiday to-do list. And at the UPS Store, we're here to help. With our pack and ship guarantee, your gifts will arrive intact or you'll be reimbursed. Got holiday cards to print? We're also the premier printing store. We've got everything you need for every way you holiday. Visit the upsstore.com/guarantee for full details. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable. Come into your local store today.
Lowe's knows how to help you save time and money, no matter the job. That's why we can deliver supplies to your job site as soon as same day, so you have more time to get the job done. Because when you need it fast, we've got you covered. Lowe's knows pros. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Rain, it is like our regional calling card here in the Northwest. And when we get a lot of rain, eventually the earth that our homes are built on, that becomes saturated. And that leads to groundwater intrusion in your crawl space. That's no good. Mike Salk here. And if rain or groundwater is making its way into your crawl space, it can create big problems, including structural damage or toxic mold that ventilates into your home. You don't want any part of it. That's why Crawl Pros can keep your crawl space dry by installing a crawl space drainage system that reroutes all that water back out and away from your home. They'll also inspect the crawl for mold and properly address if there are any signs of danger. Don't take a risk. Do what I did. Have Crawl Pros come out and do a free corner-to-corner inspection and learn if you have any water issues at all. They will go where you don't want to. Certainly where I don't want to. If you're worried about water damage, mold, insulation, critters, issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com to schedule a free inspection. That's crawlpros.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Coming up at 11:30, taking a look at the timeline. Kirk Herbstreit under fire, plus a really cool father-son moment in golf. We'll get to that in 30 minutes. Coming up next hour, you're going to hear live Mike McDonald speaking from Seahawks headquarters. Some final updates ahead of the holiday break here on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then obviously this is heading into Thursday's game. So very, very important press conference coming up at 12:30. We're going to take you there live. Before we get to any of it, the Seahawks nearly beat a 12-2 team. I feel like, Bump, I should start the segment by saying that. This isn't me making excuses, okay? I'm not on Seattle's payroll here, and if I was, which, like, feel free to add me. But if I was, sure, I could make excuses, but I'm not. What I'm doing is adding context. They nearly beat a 12-2 team. However, they did not. And it sucks. I don't like it. It's not fun to have a 4-hour show or 20 hours of radio after a loss. It's actually kind of difficult because you're trying to figure out what went wrong. And ultimately, you want to talk about a Super Bowl team. So many of our conversations are like, well, how do they get there? What do they do? That's kind of what this is going to become in a very, very micro level. I've got 4 plays here, Bump. 4 plays from this game. And these 4 plays, I think, impacted the outcome more than any other plays during this game. So let's figure out what happened what it means and figure out how close the Seahawks really are to being good, or whether these are things that'll take a while to clean up. So we're going to start with this one. And you guys can already guess what these 4 plays are probably going to be. Byron Murphy has had some cool moments this season. This was one that he'd probably like back. He got the sack of Darnold, but was called for a face mask penalty. This was in the 4th quarter.
2nd down and 10 from his own 46. Jones in the backfield. Darnold, all hand signals now. Slot to the right side. Darnold steps up. Darnold gets in. He goes down. Flag is down.
Man.
They might have gotten a face mask.
Yes.
Or a horse collar. Darnold gets up limping. It's going to go against the Hawks. Oh, my goodness.
Ref said, we're not missing another face mask on Darnold. Never again are we going to get criticized for missing that. So we'll call every single one we see, as frankly you should. Unfortunately, this time it came against the Seahawks. We know what happened next, and it's our next play. So without getting to the touchdown yet, Murphy was not happy about this face mask. He seemed to imply that it was a bad call. Did you think it was?
No, it was the right call. It was. The Hawks do a good job running a stunt with him and Leonard Williams. Byron Murphy is inside the A gap. You got Leonard Williams outside of him in the B gap. Boom, he wraps around, puts pressure on the center. Center comes off to help out Williams, allows Murphy to split, and then he goes and gets after the quarterback. My colleague, Brian Walters, made a great observation and a point on this when he said they should bring back the non-intentional face mask, which is like 5 yards, because everything is intentional. Byron Murphy clearly wasn't grabbing his face mask and pulling him down to the ground.
No, not in that moment.
No, he grabbed him, grazed his face mask, and then, you know, as you start to clench, like he clenched a little bit on his way down, which yanked his face down, but it clearly wasn't I'm holding on to your face mask for dear life and you are going down. But the young man was wrong. It definitely shouldn't have been a penalty. It was unfortunate because that would have changed the game for sure.
Well, and this is what absolutely kills me. You're on 2nd and 10. You sack him. It would have been a loss of 8. So you're facing 3rd and 18. 3rd and 18 with Seattle up 24-20. And this would have been with still about 4 minutes left to play, but it is a monumental swing in the game. Instead, automatic 1st down, 1st and 10. And we know what happens next. It's our next play.
1st and 10, Vikings at the Seattle 39. 2 receivers now shifting over, including Addison from left to right. Jones in the backfield, Darnold under center. Turn, play fake. Steps up in the pocket. Throws the ball downfield. Got a man making the catch is Jefferson. Touchdown, Minnesota. Just like that, the Vikings back on top.
This is the last touchdown of the game. It's the go-ahead touchdown, the final touchdown for Minnesota. Ultimately gives them the win. It makes the score 27-24. I've gotten this and Geno's final interception I've gotten the most questions about. When this happened, people immediately...
That was Reek.
Right.
It's not Reek.
What happened?
So they're in cover 2. They're in cover 2. The formation they're in, they got a tight end attached to the offensive line to the right. 2 receivers over there. Sam Darnold's under center. You got Aaron Jones in the backfield. 2 high look. You got Love to the left if I am Sam Darnold looking at the defense. Love is on the left side. You got Kobe on the right. A cover 2 corner. They're in the press cover 2 corner look if you're Rick Williams. So his job is to force everything inside. And if nothing threatens his flat, now he can get depth. And that's exactly what it does. Justin Jefferson comes off the football. He forces them inside. So now at this point, it's about 10 yards down the field. Rick is looking across the field to verify that no one is running into his flat. That's the zone that he's covering. So now he's able to get depth. Reed does exactly what he's supposed to do. You force it inside because you know you got inside help from that safety, which is J. Love. J. Love is supposed to get width. As soon as the ball is snapped, you start getting width. But what happens with J. Love is that he sees the play action, and Sam Darnold looks like he could be rolling to the right side. His eyes automatically go to his left, Sam Darnold's right, where those 3 receivers are, 2 receivers and a tight end. So now he's in no man's land. Justin Jefferson does what great receivers do. It's simple football. You take the inside release, you get forced inside. Now you got to work your way back outside. He realizes this cover 2, and that safety has to get over the top. The safety doesn't get over the top. Reek is in trail position, but he's just getting depth for the back shoulder throw, for the comeback. That's not his responsibility. J. Love's responsibility is deep half. And I think Jay Love just got his eyes in the backfield, looked across the field, had that old snap moment, tried to turn and run, and Sam Darnold made a great throw to a receiver that understands this safety's in horrible position. I'm going to keep getting wide, and this is going to be money.
Connor and Bremerton, don't forget on that play, another no-hold call in favor of Minnesota.
Facts.
Once again, there were a couple calls that Minnesota got away with. A defensive pass interference that I felt should have been called on Jackson Smith and Jigba that would have converted a third down early for Seattle, would have been a huge gain. And then, yes, a holding call on that play that I think should have been called. Again, I think Minnesota's a better team than you are. And I think that, Bump, you've pointed to it a million times today, and I think rightfully so. When you are a young team, you make a lot of mistakes, and you can't blame all your mistakes on other people. You know what I mean? But man, were there parts of me that were thinking, in a 3-point game, those no calls kill you. Those are the calls where you go, come on, man.
Listen, I'm going to respond to somebody. I think they're talking to you. 425 says, a bad call, take responsibility for God's sake. What are you talking about? It's our job to look at the play and analyze every single angle that what's going on. You might be the same person that thought that was on Reek Woolen and not realize he was in cover 2. You probably didn't realize that Justin Jefferson did a great job going inside and then getting outside and forcing Love to stay on top. It's pointing out every part of the play. If there was a hold, a perceived hold, then we're going to look at it and say that was a perceived hold right there. You don't just point out the bad and leave out the good. You got to do both. That's what analysts do. That's exactly what we're doing. So I'm going to second what Stacey said and go, heck yeah, that should have been a call right there. Several calls should have been called. I think these refs are perfect. They ain't perfect. They missed that. What you talking about?
Let's talk about 2 Geno plays. So again, these are 4 plays that I feel altered the fabric of this game. Murphy with the face mask penalty, that would have, in another universe, Minnesota's facing 3rd and 18. And I don't know that they convert. Maybe they do. I mean, Justin Jefferson's touchdown pass was 39 yards. The next play, that 39-yard touchdown pass to Justin Jefferson on what then became 1st and 10. Bump already told you what he saw on that one, with it being more on the safety than it is the corner there. 2 more plays. These are back-to-back moments from Geno Smith. Geno taking a sack that takes Seattle out of field goal range. Keep in mind, 3-point game. Field goal ties it. Out of range right now.
Geno, 1st and 10 from the 37 of the Vikings. Blitz again. Geno, look out. Geno steps up. Geno gets hit now and goes down. Back at his own 44-yard line. Van Ginkel was blitzing. And again, on some of these blitzes, Geno's looking downfield and guys aren't able to turn around in the pass routes. But the Seahawks just unable to pick that up. Geno finally had to peel it and eat it, and he's dropped for a 7-yard loss.
You already explained what you saw on this one, so it's going to feel repetitive, but I thought it was a great explanation. It helped me see the play more clearly, and not everyone was listening then. So, Bump, what did you see on this play?
All right, so let me pull it up real quick. Got it here on the pad.
Bump is watching the film while he's breaking this down for us.
All right, so you got a 2-by-2 formation. Geno's in shotgun. You got, I believe that's McIntosh to the left of them. The Vikings are showing blitz, right? They got 3 linemen, 2 linebackers up. And it looks like they're blitzing and they're playing man. So the ball is snapped. You have DK who runs an in route. All right. So this is just where the chemistry, you can tell, isn't really popping with this squad right now. The chemistry just isn't there. So you get the blitz. Geno's looking at the right side. You got 2 pressures there. They're sending 6. The back stays in to help block. And DK just runs an in route. So I don't know what Geno's progression is on this particular route, but it seems like it starts to the left side. He looks to the left side. There's nothing there. He gets back to the right side where DK is, where I feel like with enough time to let it go. He brings the ball back to throw the football and feels DK drifting to the safety that was there and has to tuck it and takes the sack. I don't know if DK, he didn't feel the safety over there, or here's the thing. I was talking to Paul Maury about this too. Sometimes receivers just run the route, and then sometimes they run the route and play football at the same time. It felt like DK was just running the route at this point. The route says, look, you go 10, 15 yards, boom, you cut in, you go all the way across the side of to the other field. Whereas in this moment, as a receiver, if I'm DK, I fire off the line of scrimmage, I'm peeking to see what's going on inside. I'm not turning my head all the way, but I'm peeking to see, okay, we got blitz there. So now when I get to the top of my route, when I snap in, I'm taking a peek to see where that safety is, which will, my instincts will tell me, okay, I'm going to sit down here because there's no other route that he's affecting if he does sit down. That's where becoming a savvy football player comes into play. And he just misses it, man. He misses it. And I know he's going to watch that film, and he's going to wish that he can have that one back.
I wonder if Geno wishes he could have this one back. It sounds like a similar situation. Before I play this cut, I got a text from a listener in the first segment who said, Bump, please help me understand the last play. That is our last play, is the last play. He said, I say it's on DK. My buddies say it's on Geno. Here's the actual play.
3 deep safeties for Minnesota. Geno looks, going to fire downfield. It's going to be intercepted. That's going to do it. He had to throw the ball to Geno because he got belted just as he threw the football, and he threw before DK ever came out of his back pedal.
What happened?
All right, so I'm just like you. I watched it live. I didn't watch it on TV, so I don't get the replays. I'm watching it live. I'm digesting it. And my first reaction was, dang, DK ran a sloppy route. He ran a sloppy route. So now I go back and I look at it. It looks like he's running a corner route. You look at his effort, it doesn't seem like he's running as hard as he can run. All right, so what I see is it's like a 3 deep with man. You got man on the bottom side with Tyler Lockett and JSN, but on DK's side, he's being bracketed. He has that corner there who gets in a trail position. You're saying DK is not going to beat us deep. It's 3rd and 15 because of that false start. Let's bracket him. So you have the corner who takes the inside, gives him the outside. Now he's trailing. The safety is over the top for anything deep, corner underneath for anything behind him. I think DK knows this. And he gets to that corner route and says, this route is dead. This route's dead. I'm running a corner route. This route is dead. And the effort doesn't look great, but I also think that the savvy football player is like, this play's dead. I'm not getting this football. You know, he should go elsewhere with this. And Geno tosses it up. Why does Geno toss it up? Look at that defensive line. There was a heck of a spin move, and Geno had to let that football go. There are other places other things I think Geno could have done. I'm going to save that for 4-down territory.
Which we're getting to in seconds, so hang tight.
But right here, I think this was DK realizing I'm bracketed, safety's over the top. I got trail technique behind me. This route is dead. There's no reason to run hard. But rule number 1, you learn this in youth football. You run every route like it's your last. Every route like it's your last. But DK is also a smart ball player, and I think he thought the route was dead.
Before we get to 4-down territory, by the way, more analysis from Bump coming your way in just a minute. So we have these 4 plays. Murphy with the face mask that moves the Vikings from what would have been 3rd and 18 to 1st and 10. That touchdown to Justin Jefferson where it looks like Reek Woolen maybe gives up or just, lets him get above him, and then it's actually like a cover 2. It's on the safety in that case. Geno being sacked and kind of what you saw there, that took them out of field goal range, which would have tied the game. So you have a chance to force 3rd and long for the Vikings. You miss it. You have a chance to stop Jefferson for a touchdown, I guess. Good luck. You miss that opportunity. You have a chance to tie it with a field goal. You miss that opportunity. You have a chance to move down the field for a last-second shot to tie it or win, and you miss out on that opportunity because you throw a pick. Those are the 4 plays. Knowing these are the 4 big, impactful things, what does it tell you about who the Seahawks are, where they are? Because this, to me, feels like a theme that you've been noticing about this team, which is they're young and they've got some personnel things to figure out.
When I was in 8th grade, they used to I played soccer, right? And they allowed 8th graders to go practice with the high school team. And I would go up there and I score goals and make plays, but there are like the technical things that I just didn't understand yet because these guys were older and more knowledgeable. And we played summer ball with them. And I'm like, I'm scoring goals. Why aren't I starting? I'm scoring goals. And my coach is like, there's some things you just need to work on. Watch the game develop. Learn this and learn that. That's the way I look at this team is that there's some talent there. There's some talent with the coaching staff. There's some talent with the players on the football field. There's even talent in Geno. Geno needs to fix some stuff. Of course, all those interceptions. But they're just not connecting all the dots. They're not playing consistently enough, and they're making mistakes in big moments. And you know what the other teams do in those big moments? 12-2 for a reason because they take advantage of those moments and they make those plays. So that's just what I'm seeing right now. I think there's potential with this team. They can still win 2 more games. We'll get to 10 wins, 11 wins or 10? 10 wins?
10.
10, and we can call it good. But the frustration, I understand everyone's frustration, but my expectation was just completely different for this team.
All right, we're going to be remembering a baseball great and taking a look at an NFL and college football analyst under hot water right now in 15 minutes. Right now, let's get to 4-down territory.
This is 4-down territory, going inside the game. What former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
What's something you were surprised to see late in the game, and how do you fix it?
I was surprised to see it, but I shouldn't have been, because the Vikings take the football away. They're one of the best at doing it. But I saw our receivers get locked up in a way I've never seen them get locked up. Jason's a good route runner. DK's good at what he does when he's running his routes. We know Tyler Lockett is unorthodox and it works. But I saw Byron Murphy Jr., I saw Gilmore just put clamps on these dudes late in the game. And how can you fix it? I think a lot of the times in Grubb's offenses, they are free-flowing routes. So when I was coming up, it was a route tree. It was like 0 through 9, and everything was linear. Bow, bow, bow. Everything's linear. But nowadays, the route tree is wide open, and there's more flowing routes where you get underneath and you bend it there. And when you do that, you can get open, but you need some other influences, right? You need the crosser route holding the safety. You need the play action in the backfield, or sometimes you can just beat guys that way, especially in zone. But when you're a man, that's where linear movements come into play. That's where if I am running that deep cross, I'm running the deep cross and I'm giving him something in the middle of the route, just sticking my left foot in the ground to make him react. Because it's so free flowing, there's nothing really that threatens these DBs to make them react and take a false step. So I was surprised with how when it was time to win, man, those Vikings locked us up, man. And I'm not even talking crap about our receivers. I think they're more than capable, but I think that's the next step. How do we become even better when it comes to these route combinations? It's being violent in your movements, even when it's a free-flowing route. You always got to give that DB something to think about.
2nd down. What could have Geno done instead of throwing it to DK at the end of the game? This is the one you were talking about here earlier.
I know, don't get me wrong. Like, our center got beat with a nasty spin move, and Geno was like, I got to get this football out. But what down was it, Stacey? Was it 2nd down? It was 2nd down. It was 2nd and 15.
Yeah.
2nd and 15. So really, you're just trying to live to fight another day. You don't have any timeouts. I understand that. He's thinking, I got to get this ball out. DK's route is going to the sideline. Let's get him. But you had 2 flats. You had, is that Kenny or Zach Charbonnet? Anyway, your running back was in the flat, and then you had your tight end who released in the flat as well. If you could have felt that pressure and gotten the football off, I would have gone there. Those were the only other options because Tyler Lockett was locked up, JSN was locked up, and DK was bracketed. That's the only other option. But if you do throw the ball into the flat, the clock's going to tick, it's going to tick, it's going to tick, and they're probably going to get 2 or 3 more plays off because the stripes are so slow putting the football down and make sure guys can play some football. Those are the only other option. Geno was in a tough spot, man. Go back, if y'all can, look at that dang spin move by that nose tackle.
If you're willing.
It was something ridiculous, but those were the only other 2 options.
3rd down. Any positives from the game?
Yeah, I got a few positives.
Okay.
So going into the game, we break down the numbers and we try to figure out who teams are. So the Vikings going into this game averaged 349 yards per game. Less this game. Didn't average that or didn't touch that. When it comes to rushing, 113 yards per game. Didn't touch that. Pass offense, they were plus 10. Points per game, they were even. So there's some positives there. When it comes to the Seahawks, all right, they ranked 15th, averaging 334 points or yards per game, They were plus that. Rush offense, 94. They were minus there. Pass offense, they were plus. Points per game, they were plus. Pass defense, they were plus. Points allowed, they allowed a few more than they usually do. So you go into this game and teams are kind of put in a box because of these numbers, and you use that for reference, but you got to go out and see what type of game is being played. And for the most part, they played a good game against an explosive team.
Yeah.
I know you got Justin Jefferson, who had, 144 yards and 10 touchdowns, but they only threw for 298. I mean, this defense played good. Offense played good enough to be in the game. So the mistakes hurt you, and they're going to be amplified, but the coaches got to find positives throughout the week to get these guys ready to go for Thursday. They're going to look at the film and see some good stuff.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of pushback. I saw someone earlier saying, this feels the same as saying hang the wild card banner, but you played this team tough, and it depends on what your expectation is. If your expectation is that this team should be a Super Bowl team, you have every right to be very disappointed, upset, angry, frustrated with this loss. If your expectation was that they wouldn't even make the playoffs, I feel pretty good about them coming within 3 points of a 12-2 team that only the Lions, and unfortunately the Rams, have beaten. Fourth down. What position battle intrigues you the most?
The corner spot. We saw Reek Willen play. We saw Josh Jobe out there making plays, and we saw Trey Brown. When we started the season, we were excited about the depth of that position, but at this point, now I'm concerned that I'm seeing so many guys out there. Like if spots were solidified, if Reek was doing what he was supposed to do, if Trey was doing what he was supposed to do, Josh Jobe seems like he's the most consistent out of those three at this point.
Him.
Yeah, good for Josh Jobe. But the fact that they're rotating, putting guys in there, it concerns me a bit. I would love to have that spot kind of nailed down with 2 games left in the season.
Coming up next, remembering a baseball great. Don't go anywhere.
When you're running the hurry up and don't have time for your favorite Seattle sports shows, listen to the podcast on demand.
How about that? Unbelievable. Who would have thought?
Every hour, every interview, every look behind the scenes.
He is your new Seahawks head coach, Mike McDonald.
We want to play a certain way, and you're just going to chisel away at it every day.
Find us on seattlesports.com, the Seattle Sports app, or wherever you get podcasts.
All signs continue to point to it being the right hire.
Never miss a minute of Seattle sports, the home of the Seahawks.
My wife and I always loved doing everything together. Jiu-jitsu, kayaking, and intimacy was always on point. It was around my early 30s when I noticed a downward trend. Watching a lot of TV, putting on weight, and just full of self-doubt. I had tried another men's clinic with disappointing results. It's the personalized treatment I receive at Revive Men's Health that has been the complete game changer for me. I've got my energy and motivation back. I'm feeling stronger than I did in my 20s, and it made me a much better husband to my wife.
This is Dr. Andrew Allshouse of Revive Men's Health. If you're always feeling tired or moody, or your sleep is poor, you have low libido, you may be suffering from low testosterone.
Book your free T-check and exam. Call Revive Men's Health Seattle at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
I figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
You're free now. Free to fill your feed with impossibly chunky chunkers who chunk harder than you ever thought possible.
Cats, corgis, babies, baby penguins, baby pandas, chunky baby pandas.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things. Free to open a world of remote work and a portal into Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine, and then some. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service in select locations only.
The Pacific Northwest is the perfect backdrop for the holiday season. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law reminds us that the roadways don't always agree.
It's that combination of additional travel, changes in routine, and winter weather that make this the most dangerous time of the year to be behind the wheel.
Any safety tips to help commuters keep the holidays joyful?
The number one cause of accidents remains distracted driving, even during the holidays. So store that cell phone in a place that eliminates temptation. It's imperative we set the example for our teens. Also, be aware of abrupt changes in the weather and prepare for it. Sometimes it's as simple as allowing additional distance for following or stopping. Lastly, make sure your vehicle is properly maintained for winter.
That includes four-wheel drive and chains when required at the pass. Please follow these safety precautions from my good friends at Pendergast Law and keep you and your neighbors safe this holiday season.
Happy holidays from all of us at Pendergast Law.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Dino was suffering from a rotator cuff tear in his right shoulder.
Part of the pain is like taking off my shirt. I couldn't even really button my pants. I could actually qualify for a shoulder replacement if I wanted to go that route.
He chose to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
I heard the commercials for Dr. Wagner. I did my research. I thought about surgery, but the recovery time was so long. I didn't want to have to be in a sling. I want to be able to retire in a few months, get back to bike riding and playing golf without any pain in my shoulder.
Dino knew from experience that stem cell therapy works. Dr. Wagner had already helped him recover from osteoarthritis in his thumb, but he's not done yet.
And now 2 years later, I'm having an issue with my left shoulder, so I've got it scheduled, and I'm going to go back to see Dr. Wagner again because it was so successful.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
We know you have a lot on your holiday to-do list. And at the UPS Store, we're here to help. With our pack and ship guarantee, your gifts will arrive intact or you'll be reimbursed. Got holiday cards to print? We're also the premier printing store. We've got everything you need for every way you holiday. Visit the upsstore.com/guarantee for full details. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable. Come into your local store today.
Lowe's knows how to help you save time and money, no matter the job. That's why we can deliver supplies to your job site as soon as same day, so you have more time to get the job done. Because when you need it fast, we've got you covered. Lowe's knows pros. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Seahawks Player Spotlight.
Man, it felt good to go out there and be able to contribute.
Exclusive interviews with your favorite Seahawks.
You know, we got a genius as the head coach.
Every day with Wyman and Bob. This is The Timeline.
With Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
It is The Timeline on Bump and Stacy, reading you the top stories you're going to see and hear about on social media all day. What's trending in the world of sports? For one, Kirk Herbstreit. He's getting flamed from multiple directions today. First, he's been caught in the crosshairs with ESPN's First Take at this after dissing them on the broadcast of Ohio State's playoff game against Tennessee.
Yeah, the lunatic fringe at Ohio State is as powerful as anywhere in the country.
How big is the fringe?
It used to be 8 to 10. I think it's grown now to about 15 to 20. So I don't know. You know, I'm sure they'll be happy tonight, be fired up about what the Ohio State team did, but God forbid they lose to Oregon. They may want to fire them again.
But that's not reality. I mean, that's the thing. When you hear pundits on this network and other places talk about that with certainty, it's nonsense, frankly. I mean, the public doesn't pull the trigger and get rid of the coach.
No.
The administrators do, and they're behind them.
Yeah. First Take tried to fire him. They thought he was done. So I'll be excited to see what they talk about on Monday after this performance.
I'll tell you what they're talking about, Kirk. It's you. Here's Shannon Sharp.
Even though I'm going to let it slide. I'm going to be a good teammate. I'm going to let it slide. Everybody's at ESPN, because had you not taken the route you taken, I would have lit their ass up. But I'm going to let it slide. You know what, guys? Congratulations, Ohio State. You won the game. But, hey, if we're going to be on the same team, if we're going to work for the same network, don't do that. Kurt, Chris Fowler, I promise you, if you ever mention anything, any platform that I'm on again and talking about, I wonder what they're going to say in negativity, I promise you, ESPN ain't got enough bosses to keep me off y'all for what I'm going to say. So I'm going to let y'all slide today. I'm going to turn it over to D.O. before I get myself in trouble. But don't play with me. Go ahead, D.O.
Damn.
I got to follow?
Go ahead.
Man.
Mom, what did you make of Kirk's comments that only the lunatic fringe want Ryan Day fired, and that includes First Take, and Shannon Sharp's response?
Where did Kirk go to school?
I actually don't know. Was it Ohio State?
The Ohio State.
Exactly.
Oh, know.
Kirk, man, come on.
Be
but
real.
For real.
Be so for real.
This is on some, I like the way Shannon handled that. This is on some team stuff. We wear the same logo. We represent the same brand. Don't be coming after me. And Kirk, that is a real conversation, my man.
It is.
I don't think he should be fired, but I think that it is a real conversation. When you lose to Michigan 4 years in a row.
Fair game.
4 years in a row. You can't beat Michigan, beat everybody else, but you can't beat Michigan.
That's the only school they care about.
Come on now. It's going to be a conversation, and it should be a conversation. I don't think he'll get fired. I don't think he will. He deserves to get fired. But when you are the Ohio State and you're not winning these ball games against Michigan, right, and you're not going to national championships. Now, this win against Tennessee helps. You lose to Oregon again, it's going to be conversations, but I think he's done enough. He's like 66-10 overall. But come on now.
You can't be throwing teammates under the bus, and Kirk knows and should understand that First Take is a different type of program, right? You and I are not a pregame show. While you are a pregame show host, you in fact know that being on your show this afternoon, the show that you have on Seattle Sports, versus you as a host of the pregame is kind of two different formats.
Different.
You know what I mean? Like on this show, not only is it like, oh, let's have fun, but you talk a lot of hypotheticals, a lot of what ifs, a lot of like, well, I think this, some spicy takes. What Kirk is doing in this case is just going to be like being a little more black and white. He should know that, of course, First Take is going to talk about whether or not Ryan Day needs to be fired because it's what some Ohio State fans are talking about. So they have to respond to that and have the conversation.
Kirk, you're not a First Take kind of guy.
Come on now.
Okay, Kirk? He's great at what he does. Kirk, one of the legends in the game. Respect for Kirk. But I don't think he was thinking in that moment. I don't think he realized how fast things spread and how quickly Shay was going to respond to that.
All up on him. Unrelated to the beef, Herbstreit's take about what the College Football Playoff Committee should actually value is getting absolutely ripped apart today.
I hope next year the committee won't get caught up in what the social media and a lot of people who are fringe fans get caught up in, which is wins. They had 11 wins. They must be good. Who did they beat? I think is much more important than how many wins you have. That's old school way of approaching it. Has Indiana having 11 wins and beating nobody, that doesn't mean they're one of the 12 best teams. Remember, I know, Linda, I'm not taking this out on you, but there's a big difference between deserving and best.
Yeah.
What this is all about is giving us the best 12 teams. Now, it's subjective. How you want to figure out the best 12 is up to you, but that's what I want to see. I don't want to hear about wins. How many winning's obviously important, but just because you have 11 wins doesn't mean you're better than a team that maybe had a tougher road that had 9 wins. So I think we get too caught up in how many wins you have. It's really more about who are the best 12 teams, and we need to get the best 12 teams in this tournament every year.
Hold on, but didn't in the Big Ten, like a good conference? Big Ten's a good conference, right? All right, so you can't say that. I get what he's saying, but you can't say that. And he's sending shots at the Big Ten teams right now. He's sending shots at Indiana and maybe even Penn State.
Yes.
And then he's definitely sending shots
Who
at
are weaker. Like, I get it.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely sending shots at SMU.
Yes.
I get all that. Maybe even Boise State.
Probably.
Okay, but I don't think they fed into social media. I think the committee said, this is how we're doing it this year. This is how we're going to do it. So now I feel like he's sticking up for Alabama once again.
I kept thinking
Alabama. If that's the case, then Miami should be in too. But
and if wins don't matter, as Herbstreit's saying, then where's the line? Is it an 8-4 team? If they've beaten like the number 1 team twice in a season, they're worthy of a college football playoff berth over a team that runs the table but doesn't have, a signature win? Like, I don't want an 8-4 team in my college football playoff. That they're not deserving.
Well, then you're not punishing anyway for losses.
Right.
Listen, Alabama beat Georgia for sure. Great quality win they're in. They lost to Tennessee. They beat Mizzou, who ended up doing nothing. They beat LSU, who ended up doing nothing. You lost to Oklahoma. What exactly are they talking about here? I get the idea of what he's saying makes sense to me. But because I know what he's supporting subliminally, makes me be like, come on, Kurt, man. Bama don't deserve to be in. Ole Miss don't deserve to be in. If that's the case, Miami should have been in that thing.
If that's the case, don't play the season. Use your preseason rankings and make the top 12 teams in your preseason rankings your playoff team. Don't even play the games. If wins aren't going to matter, you know what? Who cares? Why don't you jump straight ahead to bowl games? Why don't you have Alabama and Georgia play their own season completely devoid of any regular season college football and just have them jump right into the college football playoff? If wins and losses don't matter for teams that you think are just fundamentally better than other teams, don't even have them play, Kirk.
Oh, man.
Don't do it. Just you clearly entered this year going, Alabama's so good, Georgia's so good. And, I get it. Both you and I have been having conversations, you know more about college football, about some of the weaker teams in the college football playoff slate. You know what I mean? You've been I think Indiana is sus sometimes. There are times when when it's been a suspect moments from Penn State. It's not like you don't understand. But to your point, you're saying, but I feel like Kirk is also a little bit supporting the contingency of college football fans that feel like, well, Alabama's a better roster. They're clearly a better team. And it's all right, well, then don't have them play a college football season at all.
Don't lose to Oklahoma. All right?
Yeah.
Bama, you'll get it next year, I'm sure. Don't worry about it.
Let's jump to our next story, remembering a baseball legend. Rickey Henderson died late Friday night, only 65 years old. He's still MLB's all-time leader in stolen bases and runs scored, played 25 seasons with 9 teams, the Mariners, of course, being one of those in 2000. Ken Griffey Jr. released a statement through the Mariners on the passing of Rickey. He said, yesterday was the hardest day for me, probably in my professional career. For all the guys we've lost this year, Rickey meant more to me than anyone. I was closest to Rickey. He was just so special. He ended it by saying that he was such a special person as well as a special player. The amount of respect I have for him is impossible to overstate.
Rickey Henderson, my memories of Rickey Henderson is the first swole baseball player I've ever seen. I just remember thinking, man, that dude is jacked. I remember him being one of the more athletic dudes on the baseball diamond. 81 leadoff home runs, which is crazy to think about. 81 times he started the game just going yard. Yeah, let's get this party rolling. He was one of the biggest personalities. That one shocked me. I wasn't ready for this. I didn't realize he was sick neither. So big ups to Rickey, man. He's one of the first memories I have of really watching some baseball.
Okay, last one here quickly. 15-year-old Charlie Woods, son of Tiger Woods, had his first ever hole-in-one on Sunday at the PNC Championship while paired up with his dad, Tiger.
Really good contact. This is a great-looking shot if it's the right number.
Oh, it is the right number. Oh, it's a hole-in-one! Charlie Woods has made an ace at the 4th. And guess what? His father was actually not watching. He had to take a break for a second, comes back out. Here's the roar of the crowd. And Charlie Woods has made an ace here at the PNC Championship to catapult Team Woods into the lead all by themselves.
Imagine being Tiger in that moment. Someone, hey, Tiger, real quick. You turn over to talk to someone or you fix something, and all of a sudden you hear the crowd erupting. What happened?
Man. Curtis, you know how you like the crack of a bat?
Yes.
That contact from that golf ball getting smacked. My goodness, gives me chills.
God.
Great job, Charlie.
Coming up next, Geno Smith's 2024 season has been an up and down ride, but would you extend Seattle's quarterback? Text your answers, 866-979-3776. A big discussion about Seattle's future coming your way in minutes.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
I put that loss on them. I know Minnesota's a good team, and I know that Darnold's playing well. That's fine. Yep. They lost that game. That's how I saw it.
You became completely, once again, one-dimensional, right? You throw it 43 times, and you run it 15.
I don't even see how that's at
43 to 15. That works in Conference USA. That works in college football. That does not work in late December pushing for a playoff spot. It just never does.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
For decades, we've been more than just roofing. From siding and windows to custom decks and gutters, we've been helping customers protect and transform their homes. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing. I'm proud to announce our new name, State Roofing and Exteriors. The same trusted team, the same quality service, now with a name that says it all. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule your free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors. Your home, your way, held to a higher standard since 1968.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
It's Fight Night, live boxing at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center. A full evening of boxing action, Friday, January 10th. Make it a destination event. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss this evening of pure excitement. The best in professional boxing. It's Fight Night, January 10th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Please game responsibly.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising. After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the warehouse club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know! Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, Video Only.
For kids, KARS, Cars for Kids, 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids, KARS, Cars for Kids, 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
Hurry! It's our last chance to donate for 2024. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS, Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Cougs versus everybody. Washington State heads to San Diego on Friday, December 27th to face Syracuse in the 2024 Holiday Bowl. Kickoff at Snapdragon Stadium set for 5 p.m. Pregame starts at 3. On your home for Cougar football. AM 770 KTTH. Lead generation is one of the most important aspects of any marketing campaign. So let us help you identify your target audience and market your products or services to them. Go to aimyourdigital.com today. aimyourdigital.com.
When we run out that tunnel, when you put on that jersey, we see 12 as one. We compete together, side by side. You yell louder, we push even harder.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
Make no mistake, this city lives for Sunday. Get your tickets for Seahawks game days at Lumen Field and experience what this city lives for. Visit Seahawks.com today.
We are Seattle Sports. 7:10 a.m. on your radio. Streaming through the Seattle Sports app. Get new videos, podcasts, and articles on the Seahawks and Mariners from your favorite Seattle sports personalities daily. We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com from the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
The up and down ride of Geno Smith's 2024 season. I've never liked roller coasters. Like, I went on them. Obviously, I've been on them before, but You know that thing that's like, you must be this tall to ride? When I was younger and I would go to theme parks with friends, I would pretend to like scrunch down just a little bit so I wouldn't be tall enough to ride it. Like, I'm not an adrenaline junkie. I am not a roller coaster person. Every time I'm on them, I think I'm going to be in a Final Destination moment. So I have obviously not loved the up and down roller coaster that has been Geno Smith's 2024 season. Would you extend Seattle's quarterback? That is your text question. You can respond on the Mac and Jacks text line, 866-979-3776. Now, Geno's still under contract for 2025. This is about an extension. You don't need to make a decision if you're Seattle. You could have him play out his final year, and assuming he doesn't hold out, he's still under contract in 2025. But would you extend him? Some mixed replies on the text line. Bump, what have you made of Geno's season? Have you been surprised at all, disappointed, impressed? How do you look at it?
I've been all the above.
All of them. You're on the roller coaster, too.
The roller coaster ride. He has 5 games of 300 yards passing, which is tied for the franchise record with Russell Wilson this year. He also has, 14 interceptions? He's completing 70% of his passes. He also throws picks in the red zone.
He's completing too many passes to the other team.
He's got 4 game-winning drives. He also just threw a pick yesterday.
Yeah.
In a potential game-winning drive. Like, that is Geno. For every, positive, there is a negative to just counter everything you feel about that. Would I extend him? Nah, I wouldn't extend him. I think you got to wait. You got to play. These next 2 games mean a lot. What if Geno comes out, he goes
balls out,
nuts, and the Arizona Cardinals beat the Rams and you get into the playoffs? You might feel a little different. You're not going to forget what the season was like, but you might forgive for some of the mistakes that he made. I wouldn't extend him just now, unfortunately. I don't think he's taking care of the football enough for a coaching staff just to be absolutely certain that he's the guy. Look at Caleb Williams. Would you have taken his season? 17 touchdowns, 5 interceptions from Caleb Williams, a rookie over there. Now, he's got weapons for days. He does hold on to the football. But just on paper, this is what his agent and the team are going to be looking at when it comes down to negotiating. He's got another year left. I wouldn't do it. But now if you don't extend him, there's going to be some relationship things going on between you and Geno. Are you willing to have those conversations?
In an ideal world, I want him to play out his contract and, I figure out what to do after that. And I don't think Geno is going to monumentally increase his value next season. Like, I don't think that you risk what some teams worry about, and the reason they give extensions is other teams are going to outbid you. Like, I don't know that you're really risking that with Geno. What I worry, and I wrote about this yesterday after the game, and just like a quick little blurb, I was like, I think right now I would. 2-year extension, just something because of the market, not necessarily about Geno. I think that most other free agent options either aren't that intriguing, aren't an immediate upgrade, or are going to be younger and more expensive. I think that you don't necessarily want to trade. You know what I mean? Bryce Young, I know some people were like, what if you trade for Bryce Young? He's looking pretty good for the Panthers right now. And do you want Bryce Young? Exactly. The Panthers may have made a horrible decision still. We don't know yet. You aren't going to be within striking distance of Cam Ward, of Shedeur Sanders. Like, forget taking a top 5, top 10 pick in the draft and finding that guy. You also are not a team that wants to take a step back. John Schneider's made that clear. So, sorry, you're not going to be tanking in 2025 to try to get a really good quarterback in 2026. So what do you do? That's where I found myself as I was playing GM for this decision and was like, forget it. I guess I extend them.
Well, here's the thing. If say you were to go look elsewhere, you still got problems on the offensive line that are going to influence the way that other guys play. A scenario that I keep hearing is, go after Sam Darnold. And I'm intrigued. I can't. My wife can raise one eyebrow. I can't do it. If I could do it, I'd raise one eyebrow right now. I'm intrigued, but he would be behind the same offensive line. Like, what's gonna change?
Minnesota's much better than Seattle.
They have a great offensive line, and he's in a scheme that works for them. He's gonna be in a weird position because I think it's best that Minnesota try to work something out and keep it rolling with him. But you just drafted the guy, so we'll see what happens there. But no, I think that because of just the turnovers, and not all of them are Geno's fault. A lot of them are, but not all of them. I think that that's going to be part of the negotiation process. And they're going to say, hey, Geno, we need you to come back and just have another good year, dog. You're going to get your $25 million this year, $30 million this year with your incentives, and you're hitting some of your marks, I'm sure, with 3,900 yards passing. He'll go over 4,000. He's completing 70% of his passes. He's going to hit some incentives. So do you want to be here? Geno, if you want to be here, let's just ride this contract out and see what happens. Maybe halfway through the year next year, we get a contract going because you're starting off 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and making us believe again.
Someone said, extend a guy who's a turnover machine. I'm just saying, if you get into a situation where you need to make a decision, I don't know what you do. I don't want to start Sam Howell for a year. I don't. I don't think Sam Howell accomplishes much of anything behind a bad offensive line. That was kind of what sunk him with Washington.
Yep.
Why would it not be the case with Seattle? I've talked to people who have covered the Commanders who have said exactly the same thing. Like behind the scenes, I've been like, so what's up with Sam Howell? Tell me more. And all of them are like, yeah, I mean, he can be kind of fun for a couple games, but inevitably makes a mistake. It's just Geno light behind an offensive line that he hasn't been playing behind all year.
Yeah, you have 2 quarterbacks in your roster that have a turnover problem.
You guys, I mean, I just think some people that, like, I've been called an idiot so many times over, like, any kind of support of Geno, which I've only ever done to be like, hey, like, give, props to Geno for playing under duress. Would I ultimately love to have Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, where is that option? I know I'm not spending a ton of time in the Seahawks locker room this year, but I don't remember seeing Joe Burrow 2.0 sitting at a locker waiting to be played. Like, I'm thinking realistically about what Seattle's options are, and I am not seeing any for 2025. And it's so frustrating because every single time Geno throws an interception or makes a bad decision or ends a drive in the red zone without scoring, I just think, God, please stop. Like Sabrina Carpenter would plead, please, 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 don't prove them right.
Oh, that's her?
Yeah, please.
Sounds like a country song.
A little bit, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
that's kind of how I feel about Geno, where I'm like,
I'm with you.
do not prove that I'm
with
right.
you.
Do not prove that they're right. Just please, begging you, don't have a turnover in the red zone, and then he'll do it.
I think Geno can be a top 10 quarterback behind a good offensive line. I firmly believe that. I think that he can. Numbers wise, he already is top 10 in a bunch of categories, but he also is like top 2 and 3 when it comes to turnovers. So people are going to highlight that, as they should. Can't ignore it. But if he's behind a good offensive line, I think he's good enough to perform the way Sam Darnold's been performing this year.
And there's obviously a price limit to which I'd say absolutely not. I just then wonder, like, then Seattle kind of ventures into no man's land where you go, well, who are you going to have?
Yeah.
Then what?
Mm-hmm.
Are y'all ready for, if you choose wrong, a 4-win season? Been a long time.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. Okay, so that is Geno Smith. We're going to get back to the Seahawks at, let's see, coming up at 1, we'll be taking your calls. At 12:30, we'll listen live to Mike McDonald speaking from Seahawks headquarters. Very important press conference because it's one of the last updates we're going to get until Thursday, obviously, given Christmas Eve and Christmas the next 2 days. First, coming up next, we'll take a look around the NFL. Is a head coach accusing the Seahawks of cheating? That's next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
We've spent a lot of time talking about the turnaround for this defense and giving a lot of love to basically everybody there. But the interior guys, the guys like Jaron Reed, Jonathan Hankins, Roy Robertson Harris, how do you think they've played? We haven't talked about those particular guys that much, but not as much as certainly Leonard Williams.
It's interesting just because, we're talking about offensive line, how they only get noticed basically if they screw up. For the interior guys on defense, unless you make a play, nobody really notices you either.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
We know you have a lot on your holiday to-do list. And at the UPS Store, we're here to help. With our pack and ship guarantee, your gifts will arrive intact or you'll be reimbursed. Got holiday cards to print? We're also the premier printing store. We've got everything you need for every way you holiday. Visit the upsstore.com/guarantee for full details. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable. Come into your local store today.
Lowe's knows how to help you save time and money, no matter the job. That's why we can deliver supplies to your job site as soon as same day, so you have more time to get the job done. Because when you need it fast, we've got you covered. Lowe's knows pros. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out. Oh, Downy the rinse straight. Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and get wash, it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
I don't feel so good.
You do feel hot. Dayquil Kids will take care of that fever.
What about my cough?
Dayquil Kids has that covered.
Will it make my throat feel better?
Yes, that too.
But will it taste good?
Yep, Dayquil Kids comes in your favorite flavor.
Purple?
Well, yes, it's grape.
Try new Dayquil Kids Plus Fever, the daytime coughing, aching, sore throat fever just for kids medicine. Safe for kids 6+. Use as directed.
O'Brien Auto Group has some of the best new car brands in the Northwest. Those great new vehicles make the best pre-owned vehicles as well. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for the best factory certified vehicles. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for a large selection of the best pre-owned cars and trucks. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. Choose from hundreds of SUVs, trucks, hybrids, EVs, and more. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. One site is all you need. That's OBRIEN Autogroup.com.
O'Brien.
The holidays remind us how good it feels to be proud and confident in our appearance when gathering with friends and family. If hair loss is getting in your way, then my good friends at Advanced Hair offer the proven solution. It's the simple one-day treatment I received, the Advanced FUE. Advanced Hair begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day, and that new hair is guaranteed to grow for life. You choose how much and where, and they do the rest. Advanced Hair has helped tens of thousands of people, including me, and they are the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. World-class Dr. Parango and his top-rated team use breakthrough technology, delivering real results. The before and afters at AdvancedHair.com are surprising and incredible. Address thinning, receding, or balding today. And to celebrate the holidays, get a free consultation, 250 free hair grafts, and $250 off. Simply call 425-449-8185. That's 425-449-8185 or AdvancedHair.com.
'Tis the season to be bold.
Geno's going to throw right down the seam. Touchdown, Seahawks! JSN with the touchdown.
To rep your team.
The stands are rocking right now.
Your style, your way. This is the Pro Shop. Shop official Seahawks gear now at Seahawks.com/Pro Shop.
Well, Black Friday and Cyber Monday might be over, but it's the season of savings at all 6 Harnish Auto Family dealerships. Take the driver's seat to savings while supplies last on all 2024 models. The Harnish Auto Family has 22 acres of inventory filled with the most popular trucks, SUVs, EVs, and cars from the brands you know and love. Visit HarnishAutoFamily.com or head to Chevrolet and Kia of Everett or Volkswagen, Subaru, and Chevrolet Buick GMC at Puyallup and tell them I sent you. We are the Harnish Auto Family, where people matter.
August was born 3 pounds, 9.8 ounces. When I first saw him, it was a whole range of emotions. There's stuff I still want to do. Being a young dad, it's not giving up, it's shifting. I looked through his eyes, I envisioned a whole future with him already. To throw the first football to him, give him ice cream for the first time. My life is now devoted to his life.
Through all of fatherhood's firsts, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Is the head coach accusing the Seahawks of cheating? Tell us what you guys think. Let's jump into it with NFL headlines. That head coach being, of course, Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell. He was just here. Did he insinuate the Seahawks were tampering with the Vikings headset during last night's game?
My headset went out. Yeah, my headset went out, and we had a great, MVP performance from our sideline to get that. I got a new battery pack, but yeah, my headset went out completely, which I thought was curious in that moment, but Sam was able to. He scrambled on the play before, so I was able to talk to him coming off the sideline, get that play called, and then by the time the next snap was up, I had a new pack on. So dealing with adversity.
Now, the NFL is insanely competitive, and cheating absolutely happens at this level. We have seen evidence of this, certainly from the Patriots, among other teams. However, listen, Kev, while I think you should be Coach of the Year, if the Seahawks were cheating regularly, I think they'd have more than 3 wins at home.
And I think that he was just making a joke. I don't think he thinks the Seahawks were messing with this stuff.
You don't think he thought about it?
Nah, it was
Not
a joke. No, it was a joke. It was a joke. He has a relationship with the media people in that room. They're all together on the road. I think that was a joke.
Next story, Jared Goff and the Lions pulled off a fake fumble on a touchdown throw to tight end Sam Laporta. Jared Goff explained what went into that trick play.
We did work on it all week. We ran it probably 3 or 4 times through the week, and the genesis was that's a good play for that scheme. It is, but they're in tune with it on defense. That is a good play, and that it's hard to get that on them because those linebackers are so dang good at seeing it develop. So at first it started on Monday with Ben asking me if he thought I could actually fumble on purpose and pick it back up. I was like, I don't know about that, and we kind of got off that pretty quickly, and we're like, let's just pretend we're falling or pretend I'm fumbling and I'm holding on to the ball. And I think the part that Gibbs where he dives really sells the play. I'm only doing half of it, but yeah, it worked. It worked like a charm, and was nice to score there.
What do you think?
I'm looking at it right now.
I was looking at it earlier.
Great job.
Yeah.
I believe. If I was a backer, I would have been, oh, snaps on the ground. And you look at the backers, they freeze. And that allows Laporta to release, get down the field. I think they did a great job with this one. Thankfully, he didn't try to actually fumble because you never really know where a football is going to bounce, man. That shape is weird.
Has there ever been a play like that, like a ridiculous thing you've thought of where you're like, why don't more people do this?
I always go back to the annexation of Puerto Rico. A little giant status.
Why don't more people do this?
I feel like I've seen that before at the college level, but it's been a while. I
think of Comanche. From
Comanche?
Any Given Sunday,
Oh, yeah.
Comanche. You got to be a selfless player to run Comanche correctly. Texans wide receiver Tank Dell suffered a dislocated knee in addition to a torn ACL in Houston's game Saturday. He'll undergo surgery today. In the last calendar year, Dell has suffered a number of injuries, including a fractured fibula that ended his rookie season. He sustained minor injuries from a shooting back in April. It's probably why his teammate, one of his best friends on the team, CJ Stroud, was in tears during this moment.
He's just had a tough start to his career, man. He's already a smaller guy, like a $165 or something like that. Great football player. These are the risks that you take when you play football. You never want to see this happen to anybody. I'm glad I didn't see it live, and then someone tried to show me. I go, nah, I'm good. I don't want to watch that. Some guys are just unlucky, man. Hopefully he bounces back and then comes back strong.
I was getting a little bit critical in terms of people's critiques of CJ Stroud. I didn't think CJ Stroud was being overly dramatic. I think it's completely fine for someone to be emotional for a friend who in this moment, he's like, I've watched this guy suffer a season-ending injury. I've seen him suffer another injury that set him back. And now he just messed up his knee on a touchdown pass from me, and he's done for the season. I thought it was a little lame that people were being overly critical of CJ Stroud for being emotional in this moment.
That's his dog. That's his boy, man.
Why are you being critical?
I'm completely fine with it, man. You can cry. Go ahead and cry. That's your boy. And I could imagine if I saw my best friend on the ground with his leg all mangled up, the feelings I would have, man. I'm completely fine with that. Leave CJ alone. Yeah, he was being a human being in that moment.
Yeah,
What's wrong
I
with
just
that?
feel like people want it both ways where they're like, we never let men be emotional. And then the second that a young man is emotional, and by the way, he's not like sobbing. He's upset for his friend. But the moment a young man is emotional, people, he's so soft, he can't be a leader. How do you follow a man who cries? I've seen a lot of players get really emotional, and a lot of them are leaders.
You only cry when you're happy, apparently.
Yeah,
That's about it.
I guess. You can't even do that, apparently. Leave CJ alone. The Washington Commanders' next story ended the Eagles' 10-game win streak. 10-game win streak is unreal. Thanks to a touchdown in the final 6 seconds, Jaden Daniels finds Jamison Crowder. The Eagles basically need the Lions to lose out to take the #1 seed. Their odds are hovering around 5%. Do the Commanders have the best quarterback of the class?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely. Jaden Daniels, 24 of 39, 258, 5 touchdowns. They did throw 2 interceptions. They overcame 5 turnovers.
Come on now.
Absolutely nuts. Jamison Crowder had 2 catches on the season, both today or yesterday, 4 touchdowns. You watch this young man play ball, it just looks different.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had to compare him to anybody, it would be Lamar Jackson. They're both kind of thin, have that same kind of style, but he's his own player, and the NFL better watch out. Here's the thing, though. Finish strong this year and come back and keep improving, because everyone's knocking C.J. Stroud this year, not recognizing that his offensive line isn't very good either and that he's lost a couple weapons throughout the year. But I love what Jay Nance is doing.
Yeah.
You took down the Eagles. They're now 12-3. I think the Eagles are still the team to beat in the NFC. But the Commanders been 10-5. I would have never guessed it. And it's what the Commanders used to be to the public. Like, they're one of the darlings now. We love the Commanders. I want to see Daniels do his thing.
A Week 17 schedule flex. Speaking of the Eagles, Packers-Vikings will be moved to Fox's Game of the Week at 1:25 p.m. on Sunday in place of Cowboys-Eagles, which has been bumped to 10 a.m. Never thought I'd live to see the day a Cowboys game gets bumped to an early slot. But
Jerry gonna sue him.
He's going to lose his mind.
Sue him.
Coming up in 15 minutes, hear from the head coach, Mike McDonald, as he speaks live from Seahawks headquarters about this loss. We're also waiting to hear if there's an update on Ken Walker's health. That's all coming your way. Don't go anywhere.
This is Seattle Sports.
Fires. Back shoulder. End zone. Touchdown. Seahawks. Barner.
Anything you see that goes wrong, put it on me.
Throw down the middle. JSN. What a catch over the shoulder between 2 defenders.
Against a team like this, the unforced errors has to get cleaned up. Starts with me.
Gonna let it fly. Got DK in the backfield. He's got it. Touchdown. Seahawks. Back in the end zone. DK Metcalf.
We are the home of the Seahawks.
My wife and I always loved doing everything together. Jiu-jitsu, kayaking, and intimacy was always on point. It was around my early 30s when I noticed a downward trend. Watching a lot of TV, putting on weight, and just full of self-doubt. I had tried another men's clinic with disappointing results. It's the personalized treatment I receive at Revive Men's Health that has been the complete game changer for me. I've got my energy and motivation back. I'm feeling stronger than I did in my 20s, and it made me a much better husband to my wife.
This is Dr. Andrew Allshouse of Revive Men's Health. If you're always feeling tired or moody, or your sleep is poor, you have low libido, you may be suffering from low testosterone.
Book your free T-check and exam. Call Revive Men's Health Seattle at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
We know you have a lot on your holiday to-do list. And at the UPS Store, we're here to help. With our pack and ship guarantee, your gifts will arrive intact or you'll be reimbursed. Got holiday cards to print? We're also the premier printing store. We've got everything you need for every way you holiday. Visit the upsstore.com/guarantee for full details. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable. Come into your local store today.
Lowe's knows how to help you save time and money, no matter the job. That's why we can deliver supplies to your job site as soon as same day, so you have more time to get the job done. Because when you need it fast, we've got you covered. Lowe's knows pros. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. For over 55 years, you've trusted us for roofing, siding, windows, decking, and gutters. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule a free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
In the past, there's been maybe a little bit of competition over who created nicknames and
Legion
things like
of
that.
Boom.
Well, for one, there was definitely a little debate on that whole thing at the time. I don't think anyone but Ernest Jones, though, is going to take credit for the new one, the Death Zone. I'm willing to roll with it because of its emphasis on, no, we want to be our own team with our own reputation, our own everything.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
What's your holiday tradition? Now, if you're like me, it involves gathering around a big meal to celebrate. Well, what if there's no food on the table? Hey, it's G. Scott. This year, help someone less fortunate celebrate the holidays by supporting Nourishing Neighbors. The Nourishing Neighbors program provides grocery cards to the people who are the most impacted by food insecurity. So make a donation next time that you're at Safeway and help make sure everyone is welcome at the table for the holidays. Go to nourishingneighbors.com to learn more.
Tune in this Thursday as the Seahawks take on Chicago. Kickoff at 5:15 p.m. Muckleshoot Casino Resort, proud sponsor of the Seattle Seahawks and the Northwest's biggest and best casino.
Hey, holiday heroes. It's a special time of year at Shane Company. As a family business for 4 generations, we know firsthand that fine jewelry is the gift that says it all. From the engagement ring that says, "You're the one," to the diamond tennis bracelet that says, "Thank you for being you." We have the widest selection of fine jewelry gifts, in stock and ready to take home. Come pick out a pair of hand-matched diamond stud earrings or a necklace with a colorful gemstone. Check out our new Bloom collection, one of owner Tom Shane's favorites this year, featuring stunning sapphires, emeralds, or rubies. At Shane Company, every gift and every price range is crafted to our high-quality standards. We have jewelers working in every store to bring your gifts to life, making sure rings fit just right, setting center stones and engagement rings by hand, and engraving your pieces to make your gifts even more special. Your gifts will always be protected with our unmatched free lifetime warranty. Visit shaneco.com and come see us in store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. If you've been injured, you need a lawyer that is tough, confident, and battle-tested. Call us at 253-WARRIOR for your free case review. Warrior Injury Law, battle-tested.
Your favorite Seattle sports show is available anywhere you go through the Seattle Sports app. Brought to you by Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center Proton Therapy. Full shows and interviews, exclusive video and articles from the home of the Seahawks and Mariners.
I never considered myself to be a heavy drinker. At first, I only drank with friends, then to get through the day. I hit rock bottom when I realized I was choosing alcohol over my family. That's when I made the call. With my doctor's help, I was diagnosed with alcohol use disorder. Now, I'm getting to the root of my addiction and finding better ways to cope.
Mental health care works when you make the call. Visit mentalhealthcareworks.org. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
The Mike McDonald Show, the first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
We want to play a certain way, and you're just going to chisel away at it every day.
Presented by Emerald Queen Casino.
Extra, read all about it.
Headline Rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, the first ever expanded college football playoff went chalk in the first round. 4 home blowouts. What's the real headline?
Sure, but the SEC went undefeated in hypothetical matchups.
Sure did.
Let's go.
Dang, Bama was
Roll
in
Tide.
there. Would have been a different story.
Yeah, no. If the right teams were playing.
Right, get the right ones.
We talked earlier about Kirk Herbstreit saying, you just got to change the way that you're deciding these teams. He wants to see the college football playoff selection committee process change.
I hope next year the committee won't get caught up in what the social media and a lot of people who are fringe fans get caught up in, which is wins. They had 11 wins. They must be good. Who did they beat? I think is much more important than how many wins you have. That's old school way of approaching it. Has nothing, Indiana having 11 wins and beating nobody, that doesn't mean they were one of the 12 best teams. Remember, I know, Linda, I'm not taking this out on you, but there's a big difference between deserving and best.
Yeah.
What this is all about is giving us the best 12 teams. Now, it's subjective. How you want to figure out the best 12 is up to you. But that's what I want to see. I don't want to hear about wins. How many winning's obviously important, but just because you have 11 wins doesn't mean you're better than.
Doesn't mean you're better, okay? It doesn't mean that.
Listen, I get what he's saying. I think there are situations where you should be like, all right, strip the schedule. That's why you stop ranking these teams, all right, and you let them play out for a few weeks, and then you rank them. That's part of it. But also, Indiana beat Michigan. Michigan beat Ohio State. So what's up, Alabama? And the reason why I disagree with him, I don't disagree with the idea of this because I think he's on to something. It should be that way. But I know why you're saying it, or I feel like I know why you're saying it. It's because you're vouching for Alabama to get in. That's what it comes out to. When it doesn't feel genuine to me, that's where you're going to lose me. It feels like you're pubbing Bama.
First round of the playoffs done. As Curtis said, those home teams all won in blowouts. Next round about to begin. You had a proposal where you wanted to see reseeding for this round.
Yeah,
obviously, it's not going to happen. But
yeah, you figure out, okay, who are the top 12 teams? You get them in. Then you reseed. That's where you can really look at schedules and stuff and all that as well. Because there's no way Ohio State should have to play Tennessee. And then guess what you get? Next round, you get Oregon. Goodness gracious, it's crazy with that. So, yeah, I think next year that's how you fix it. But he's referencing Bama getting in. And then you're looking at SMU and you're asking, okay, who did they beat? And they beat Louisville when they were 22. They beat Pitt when they were 18. You know, they barely lost to Clemson in the ACC championship game. I think they lost to BYU, who ended up being ranked for a long time. So I think, look, man, it's never going to be perfect. So we're going to cry every year. Someone's going to cry.
Yeah.
Headline rewrites.
Headline 2, to nobody's surprise, Steve Belichick will reportedly be leaving Washington and become North Carolina's defensive coordinator on his dad's new staff. What's the real headline?
Yeah, I'd expect nothing less from a nepo baby.
Nepo.
It's a family business.
It's a family business is football.
And we knew he was going to North Kakalaki.
We all knew that was happening.
He was going. Yeah, you're supposed to. Let me get a job somewhere coaching. Take my son Kobe with me. He loves football, X's and O's. You know, this is what happens. You're supposed to take care of your family. That's what Bill Belichick has done. That's what the Shanahans have done. That's what the Moores have done. That's what the Carrolls have done. It's just the way it works. So now where's the tampering going on? How many UW players are going to go to North Carolina and join Bill Belichick? That's my next question.
Headline rewrites.
Headline 3, Walker Buehler and the Red Sox have agreed to a one-year, $21 million deal this morning. That's according to ESPN's Jeff Passan. What's the real headline?
The Mariners aren't just watching first basemen go off the board. They're also losing out on trade opportunities. Bump, I am not great being patient. I'm not a patient person. I get very antsy with a lack of movement from a team like the Mariners right now. And I hate watching all of these options drift away. The latest being, in addition to Buehler, which doesn't give you the same opportunities to trade Luis Castillo, the other one being Carlos Santana signing with the Guardians when the Mariners, according to Ken Rosenthal, were in hot pursuit of Santana. That's now not happening. So what are your options?
Yeah, it's running out. Yeah, you know, I'm listening to all the names that you just mentioned, and they gotta want to come here too, right? They gotta want to be here if you're getting them through free agency, and it feels like guys just don't want to come here. They don't want to be a part of this, and the petty side of me is like, so if you don't want to be here, then we don't want you here either. And then also I'm like, I'm sorry, but what can we do to make you want to come here? You know, because you need talent to get her done. So they playing some Dua Lipa right now. If you don't want to see me dancing with somebody, don't show up.
Don't go something.
It's a sad situation, man.
Ken Rosenthal saying the Mariners were reportedly going to offer more guaranteed money. So we already know the Mariners are going to have to overpay. And already they don't have a lot of wiggle room and a ton of money to work with, reportedly. Obviously, we don't know these numbers for sure. It's just really disappointing because for a team that entered the offseason needing answers at first, second, and third base, it sure feels like they're coming away without any.
Platoon gang. Bing, bing, bang.
Feels like it's going to be bringing back 40-year-old Justin Turner at first to
maybe he
platoon
balls
with
out.
Rayleigh.
Maybe he balls out.
Maybe.
Maybe he has a career year.
Maybe it's going to be having Dylan Moore platoon with someone at second and eventually bring up Cole Young, and then at third you find that's where you spend some of your free agent money to get someone.
So maybe they think the farm system is just on point. That we got guys.
The farm system's too
ready
far
to go.
away.
We got guys ready to go.
And then that's the other thing too, is when you finally get Cole Young up here, if you think that Cole Young's going to come up and suddenly be like, oh, it's like we got a great experienced free agent who's totally been there before. No, he's going to have to make that rough adjustment.
Maybe you don't know that. You don't know that.
Don't know
I'm just
that.
trying to be positive
I
here.
know. Bum's trying real hard ahead of the holiday to be like, let's just bring good cheer. It kills me. It absolutely kills me. We know that what they're going to have to do is exactly what you and Curtis said earlier. Turn to Julio to play like an MVP, hopefully for more often than not. Turn to JP to look more like 2023 than he did in 2024, and hope for the pitching staff to stay completely healthy. And that doesn't feel like adding a lot of insurance or improvement.
Sounds like hope.
It sounds like hope.
And prayer.
And I don't know how I feel about that. But hey, we'll see what ends up happening. There are still some names that are out there. We talked about them at the end of hour one. So if you want to go back and listen to the Bump and Stacy podcast, that's going to be at the very back half of hour one, where we talk about some of those additional options, including a potential name at third base. Still to come, we are going to head to Virginia Mason Athletic Center for Mike McDonald's Monday press conference. This is one of the last times, I think the last time, Curtis, right, that we're going to hear from the head coach ahead of Thursday Night Football. So big press conference here with some important updates. Don't go anywhere.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
In the past, there's been maybe a little bit of competition over who created nicknames and
Legion
things
of
like that.
Boom.
Well, for one, there was definitely a little debate on that whole thing at the time. I don't think anyone but Ernest Jones, though, is going to take credit for the new one, the Death Zone. I'm willing to roll with it because of its emphasis on, no, we want to be our own team with our own reputation, our own everything.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This year, American farmers will harvest 2.8 billion bushels of wheat and 15.1 billion bushels of corn. And to this day, American road workers have built 4.2 million miles of roads and counting. We're proud that John Deere machines rolling off the line here in the USA play a part in supporting Americans who work the land and build a better tomorrow. Nothing runs like a Deere. Learn more at johndeere.com/manufacturing.
This is Seattle Sports.
Fires, back shoulder, end zone, touchdown, Seahawks, Barner.
Anything you see that goes wrong, put it on me.
Throw down the middle, JSN, what a catch, over the shoulder, between two defenders.
Against a team like this, the unforced errors has to get cleaned up. Starts with me.
Gonna let it fly, got DK in the backfield, he's got it, touchdown, Seahawks, back in the end zone, DK Metcalf.
We are the home of the Seahawks.
Do you leave your car running unoccupied to warm up or stay warm during the winter? Don't do it. Car thieves call those steamers. They're watching for you and they'll steal your car before you know it. Every winter, Washington sees an uptick in auto theft, and a major reason is steamers. Share this information with friends and family. Prevent the theft and keep you and your vehicle safe. Don't get caught with your car running. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids.
Hurry! It's your last chance to donate for 2024.
Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Television sales on Black Friday set new records as millions of Americans snapped up the hot deals. But a lot of people were out of town or too busy to take advantage of the special pricing. So, how about a redo? Right now, you've got a second chance to save big on many of the top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs. Where? At Video Only, where the smart shoppers go. So, don't miss out. Check out Video Only now, or
you'll be sorry.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
Mike Tirico, best in the business, just phenomenal.
And ditto back to you guys. I seriously do a bunch of these, and a lot of folks do a great job. You two as a combo in this show is really, really good. I hope the listeners enjoy and appreciate what they have, and I always love coming on with you guys. You're both wonderful, so thanks so much.
They don't. No, they just make fun of us all the time, so that's fine. Thank you for telling them that. Maybe somebody will finally convince them that that's true.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Well, Black Friday and Cyber Monday might be over, but it's the season of savings at all 6 Harnish Auto Family dealerships. Take the driver's seat to savings while supplies last on all 2024 models. The Harnish Auto Family has 22 acres of inventory filled with the most popular trucks, SUVs, EVs, and cars from the brands you know and love. Visit HarnishAutoFamily.com or head to Chevrolet and Kia of Everett or Volkswagen, Subaru, and Chevrolet Buick GMC at Puyallup and tell them I sent you. We are the Harnish Auto Family, where people matter.
Take your game day experience to the next level with a Mariner Suite. Suites are perfect for birthdays, anniversaries, client meetings, and that company outing you've been trying to plan for months. Enjoy first-class catering, VIP parking, custom setups for 14 to 400 people, and more, all with the help of a dedicated Mariners rep. Suites start at $125 per person, and season ticket members get 15% off. Reserve now at mariners.com/suites.
Munoz strikes out the side, and the ball game is over.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed a musty smell in your home? I hope not, because damp smells mean that you could have a crawl space problem. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your crawl space and get to the root cause of the problem. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
I started Davis Law Group in 1994 to fight for the underdog. And as our team has grown, we've stayed true to that mission. Today, Davis Law Group is known for providing excellent service and even better results. Visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com to get your free book on car accident law.
Ho, ho, ho! It's Christmas Eve, and Max and Daisy are busy decorating their exquisite tree.
Max, how high are you going with that star?
High enough so no cat can reach it.
Smart thinking. We don't want a repeat of last year.
Okay, Daisy, hit the lights.
Perfect.
Max and Daisy aren't just decking the halls, they're getting ready for something bigger.
What's next on our list?
Delivering gifts. Gifts of hope.
This Christmas, Max, Daisy, and their fellow guide dogs are heading out to change lives, bringing comfort and joy to those who need it most. Find hope at dogsinc.org. Ho, ho, ho!
Ready, Daisy?
Ready, Max. Ready to give hope.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We are waiting for Mike McDonald to step up to the podium at Virginia Mason Athletic Center. It is his last press conference before we get to Thursday for Thursday Night Football against the Bears. So this is a big one. We're going to hear a ton of updates, hopefully, maybe, on some health questions we have about this team, waiting on something for Ken Walker. It's also going to be the last chance until Thursday for reporters to be able to ask Mike McDonald all the questions they have about this loss, about what he sees with his team. So, again, we're going to play that for you live coming up in just moments. Brady's going to interrupt me the second Mike McDonald steps up to the podium. Before we get to that, let's let you know your caller question. So you have 30 minutes to think of it. What's become clear to you about this Seahawks team? What has become clear to you about the Seahawks? Bump, I'll throw the question your way for an example of an answer.
You ever seen the movie Apocalypto?
No.
Goodness gracious,
I don't watch a lot of movies. I mean, I told you I just watched
Brady,
The Wedding Singer 2 years ago.
That's a negative.
Thank you, Brady.
Curtis, have you seen it?
No.
Goodness gracious,
Thank you.
I'm by myself.
Oh, wow. Looks like
I can't even use this reference anymore, but I'm going to because somebody listening has seen Apocalypto.
Looks kind of weird.
So,
oh, wait, I've seen this.
It's a Mel Gibson movie?
I swear to God, I've seen this.
You sure?
I swear to God, I've seen this.
Took old boy prisoner and all that stuff, right?
I've seen
about the Mayans and stuff. I'm assuming they're Mayan. So there's a part where he almost kills the guy who was taking him for a slave, and he goes, Ulak. He's like, I'm going to call you Ulak. That means almost. That's what I see with the Seahawks. Almost. Like, you're almost there. Like, you got some things you got to work on. You almost beat this team. I think by the end of the year, we're going to say, you almost made the playoffs. It's Ulak. So, that's what I see this team like. They're just not quite there yet, but they have some good pieces.
What's become very, very clear to me is that they need offensive line help badly. And I think that maybe that needs to be like a philosophical change in how they, draft, approach free agency, spend, evaluate. I have no idea. It's above my pay grade. But your offensive line, if it doesn't cost you a spot in the playoffs, will eventually cost you getting to a Super Bowl.
You know what? I feel like that's most teams if you have a quarterback that is capable. And I think Geno is capable of being a playoff type of quarterback. But if you can't protect the man, I'm telling you, that last play of the game, that interception, the spin move that was put on Oluwatimi, and Geno sitting there, and he's got a big 92, I think his number was, going right at him. He's got to stand there and throw the football. It's crazy. And you heard, if you listen to Mike McDonald this morning, he talked about how Geno, he moves great in the pocket. And he has to move great in the pocket because things seem to be breaking down at a high rate. Also, the offensive line has gotten better at times, right? Laumea has gotten better. I think Lakin has gotten better. Oluwatimi's had his moments, but it's just an O-line that can consistently give your quarterback, who is capable of making plays and win you ball games, time after time after time after time again. You're gonna be successful. So who's been sacked the most? You got Caleb Williams been sacked the most, 60 times. C.J. Stroud, 47. Geno at 45.
Texans' offensive line is bad.
So bad. Patrick Mahomes has been sacked 36 times. Who hasn't been sacked? Bo Nix has been protected 22 times. Josh Allen has only been sacked 14 times.
Not a coincidence.
That's amazing.
In his best season, he's got one of his better offensive lines.
And he also gets busy, too. He gets up out of there.
Yes. He's tough to bring down. Just a big dude. I'm going back and forth with the listener who doesn't think the offensive line is that bad. I just think the offensive line is one of the worst in football, which I feel so guilty saying that every time. I always feel like I need to add this weird caveat of but these guys are so nice and they try so hard, and building offensive line is a really tough job. I always feel guilty saying it, but it has ultimately been center to every conversation we've had about the offense. Every conversation we've had about Geno Smith, every conversation we've had about the run game, every conversation we've had about Ryan Grubb, at some point centers back to, maybe it looks different with a different offensive line. Every single one.
I think there's a theme. It's always O-line, Geno, run game, run defense, red zone. Those are the 5 things.
And here's Mike McDonald now.
As an opportunity to move forward on a short week and get going. So, altered the short week schedule a little bit. Felt like our guys needed a full recovery day, so we'll get after it, get a game plan together today, and then kind of double down on our work tomorrow and travel Wednesday. So that's the plan.
Do you have any more updates on Ken Walker?
No updates right now on him, but getting the test done, we'll have a good idea what it looks like over the next day or two.
But you're part of a great team last year in Baltimore, #1 seed, and I'm curious, you said yesterday the team's not quite where you want it to be or the team wants to be.
Yeah.
What's the differences between this team and a great team?
Well, first let me say our guys know what it looks like, and we've done those things at times throughout the year, and it's just not as consistent as we want right now. But when we talk about December football, it's complementary. We use terms like 12 as one, but that's really what it looks like, and that's why we have those terms. That's why we've talked about those things throughout the entire year, and that's what we're chasing, that vision of how we want to play. But it's a rugged, it's a physicality, it's a togetherness, great situational football that you can take advantage of those windows to win games like that. But that's what it looks like.
What struck you the most when you went back and watched that one this morning?
I don't know if I just evaluate the heck out of games right after, but it is consistent with what we said after the game. We had our opportunities. We had our opportunities to win the game. You got to give the Vikings a lot of credit with their track record in tight games like that, being able to play well when it matters most, and we fell short. So we got to move on. We got to go. Kind of the destiny is out of our hands right now, and that stings. But we got a lot to play for still. And like we're talking about this morning with our staff, like we're just going to keep hammering away until this thing cracks. And I think it's right there. So we want to be ready when that happens, and hopefully we get an opportunity to get into the dance and go do some damage.
As you just said, your destiny is not fully in your hands. A week ago, you were able to come out of a loss saying, we still control everything. It's all out in front of us. Is it all a challenge with players this week to make sure they're all in the right space when that shifts a little bit?
It doesn't change it. I mean, it really doesn't change your mentality, your approach. It won't change with our guys. Not worried about that one bit.
When you talk about finding that consistency, do you think that comes as a result of more experience or more focus?
I just think that we got to keep attacking it and hammering away at it. That's just, I mean, I don't know what else. I don't know what else there is to do. Just keep attacking it. All the things, having the discussions, having the conversations, chasing the things that we want to chase. I mean, that sounds like a lot of, might be some coach speak crap. You might call me out on that, but I really feel the same way. I mean, it's just, I really feel that way. I feel like you got to be steadfast in what you're trying to achieve and chasing that vision. And that's how we've always operated. That's how we'll always operate. Our guys know that. They'll be, we had a great recovery today. They're still working right now as we speak. And we'll be ready to play on Thursday.
What did you think of Geno Smith's overall day?
Yeah, I said this morning, I thought he played good enough to win the game. He did some really great things. If we get a stop when we're up 4 in the last end of the fourth quarter, we're having a different conversation right now. Everybody wants to talk about the interceptions, and rightfully so. And those are things that we're working through. But I mean, one of the reasons that we're here with life, like I said last night, is I really felt that Geno's helped put us in this position. So I thought he played a strong game.
You talked this morning about the sack that he took. They're down at the 37-yard, the 43-yard line. On that sequence, he had those 2 big plays to Fant and McIntosh. How much consideration, and obviously you're playing to win the game, but how much consideration is going on the sidelines for trying to balance playing fast to get downfield and score, and also putting the Vikings in a position where they maybe have to start thinking about burning some timeouts?
Yeah, those things are part of the conversation and how we intended to operate. And we didn't get it done in that moment. So that's it's disappointing, obviously. We had a chance to get tied up, keep the ball moving forward, and we'll be better next time. But it's that was definitely part of the conversation. We're operating with that under that pretense.
Mike, how important is selflessness and accountability in your program as you strive for perfection, and do you feel that you're getting that?
I mean, it's incredibly important. We talk about 12 as one. That's a team focus, a team mindset, all through the lens of what's best for the team is going to be best and best for the individual. So we have to operate like that. We do operate like that. That's what this whole program is built around the team. So
You talked about how important love and ball is for people on this team. You guys talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
And curious if you've ever had players that you found that have learned to have that love at the NFL level, or if they don't have it, they're not going to get it.
I used to think that once you don't have it, or if you don't have it at some point, that you probably don't have it. But my experience in the last couple of years changed my opinion on that. Probably not to 100%, but I do feel like the guys, if you're able to go this far in your career and make it to this level, at some point in your career, there was a spark in your eye about how much you love the game. And it's fun to get that out of guys. You know, when you see the light come on more, and that's one of the best parts about the job is to see that come to life and guys find that passion again. So won't name any names, but guys come to mind as I hear that question, and it fires you up to hear about it. You know.
Is it safe to say there's maybe still guys you're learning about in your first year with this team, about whether they have that love or still are trying to capture it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're learning about your guy. You're learning new stuff every day. How could you not? How could you not?
What do you think has been the reason that the light came on with some of those guys?
Well, I mean, I just think if you empower them, like we talk about having a bigger vision for your guys than they can imagine for themselves, and you make that come to life, and you feel like you're empowering them, and they have opportunities to succeed and have success. Find joy in the process about how we operate, that we're going to and the consistency in how we operate. Like they shouldn't be coming to work every day, not knowing what the heck's about to happen, and how we're going to treat them. And I think if you stay steadfast in that and stay consistent, then that's when it comes on.
You've mentioned Jaron Reed a few times this year as a guy who's playing really well, even when we don't see it in the numbers. The numbers were there yesterday. What's he been giving you, and particularly what did he do well yesterday?
Yeah, I think it's similar to Leo's curve from the middle of the season. Just we knew he was playing really good football, and it's great to see Leo kind of break open the stat category. I put Jay Reed in the same sentence of guys playing really good football. He's playing really hard. How they're working together and some of the pass rush stuff is pretty cool to see, and it's exciting to see him get some production.
Their winning touchdown yesterday, you said they made the play. It was a great play by them. But did that go as designed for you guys?
No, definitely didn't want to go touchdown there. I mean, we can execute what we're asking them to do better. We shouldn't be giving up 40-yard touchdown passes. It's not a good thing. But you do have to credit them, when I'm making a good play as well.
Aside from the 2 sacks that were given up in the fourth quarter, the offensive line only gave up 4 of their quarterback hits the entire game with all the dropbacks that you guys had. What was your overall thoughts on the way that they played, given the aggressiveness that the Vikings bring with their blitzes? And
Can you say that again?
They only had 4 quarterback hits before you had a couple of those sacks at the end of the game. How did you feel about the way the offensive line handled dealing with that hyper-aggressive defense that blitzes a lot and uses sim pressures?
At the beginning of the game, let's say the first 75% of the game, I thought we handled that stuff really well. I thought we had a good plan. Again, speaking of Geno, how he operates, getting in and out of some of the stuff that we wanted to get based off the looks, was efficient. And then at the end, we gave up probably too many pressures in the end. And but the guys played hard. I thought they played sound. We gave up some pressures at the end, but the first 3 quarters of the game I thought was sound.
Not playing on the first series, was that tied to something during the week that he did or did not do?
Yeah.
So not the game, not the Packers game.
Correct. Yeah, it's during the week.
Sam Darnold has 32 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Geno 2 years ago had 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. He's having a little bit of different numbers here this year. What do you think the differences are in players that can have a year like that and then a year statistically it's a little different this year? What do you think are contributing factors to that for Geno?
I mean, you're asking me to compare apples to oranges. I don't know if I were to give you any answer, I'd just be speculating and just be making something up.
How much of the run pass numbers obviously kind of looked a little by the end of the game? How much of that was circumstance versus if you went back and looked at it, we should have run the ball more here in certain situations?
Yeah, like I said this morning, we just have to keep chasing, moving the ball forward. So however that manifests itself based off the game plan, we can do a better job of that. And so that's the stuff that we're thinking about doing. So some of the things that Minnesota was doing was got us out of some runs earlier in the game, and we made them pay in some of the early down pass stuff. So you just start looking at straight numbers of there's more going on than just called runs and called passes. But overall, we got to do a better job of keeping the ball moving forward.
Mike, you mentioned some of the procedural issues yesterday. I think you had 7 pre-snap penalties total, 4 false starts, and illegal shift and such. What do you kind of see from that area of your team as you kind of work through it at this stage of the season?
Yeah, we should be further along than than we are right now in the procedure stuff, especially at home. We're working through that. And like I said, I mean, this is an area that we need to attack, so we're spending a lot of time and energy getting it fixed, and we need to do a better job. Our procedure has actually been better on the road, it feels like, at points than at home. So we'll look at it cadence-wise, operation-wise, everything's on the table.
Schedule-wise for you guys, is this like a normal Sunday to Thursday week, or is anything different?
Well, you know, we did change the schedule, partially because it was later in the week, partially because I felt like recovery was really important, and then we could just kind of let's do the game plan all in one fell swoop on Tuesday morning and go from there. And then obviously Christmas is going on as well, and we're on the road, so normal week. Feels good. Feels good to have some adversity in a week. You know, it's great. Good stuff.
This is probably a hard question to answer with any sort of exactness, but just ballpark. You've coached against DK. You obviously coach him now. Roughly how many other receivers around the league do you see commanding as much attention from defenses as DK?
Again, this is another apples and oranges. It's tough. DK has a unique skill set, different than a lot of other number ones. So I do think he's kind of unique in his own measure. So it'd be kind of hard to compare. It's not like a lot of true big X's out there. Maybe Mike Evans is similar. We haven't gone against Mike Evans in a while, but different styles. You know, some like nowadays more number ones are like more not true like one position type guys. Justin Jefferson moves around, plays all the spots and everything, but yeah, it's tough to compare.
Would you shed more light on what happened or didn't happen on the final pass?
Yeah, we'll get that fixed in-house, and we got to move forward. But when those chunk situations, I thought we had a good plan, and we just didn't get it done.
If Kenneth Walker's unable to go this week, do you expect Zach Charbonnet to potentially be able to take the full load?
I'll just speak to Zach. It seemed like he was limited during the game, but signs are positive with Zach right now.
You've played against dual threat quarterbacks several times this year, Kyler Murray twice. And Caleb Williams absolutely thrives playing out of structure, a little different body type, not the same skill set exactly as Kyler Murray. But how much does that impact what you can do coverage-wise when you have a quarterback that has size and also has that ability to play sandlot football and thrives in those situations?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think you got to approach it with, again, broken record, all 11 mentality. So how you marry the rush with the coverage, with how many you're going to send from what angle, what pass rush lanes you want to kind of fill up, and how you account for all the different pass rush lanes is always important. And it's not just 6-man, drop back pass or 5 out. It's you got to account for it in the play action game as well. So it's definitely at the top of at the top of your mind as you're going through a game plan for sure.
You said this morning, it's kind of a chasing edge question, but you said you need to be more efficient on first down. I know you look at how do you become more efficient on that?
Well, it goes to Bob's question. I think that's more of a function of what we're trying to achieve right now. It's different for everybody, but it starts with what we're good at and building around our players. So that's really the starting point.
And how much does the opponent factor into that in terms of what their scheme?
Yeah, every time we're going to game plan, it's going to be through our wheelhouse and attacking their structures and how they operate. But we shouldn't be. We want to keep it within our sweet spot of what we can execute and do at a high level, and then it'll be through the lens of how they operate as well.
Do you feel like you're dictating terms right now on offense?
At times, just like like I said, it's our football team right now. We do a lot of great things. A lot of times I feel like we do, and sometimes we're not. But you could ask me about special teams, defense, it'll be the same answer.
How's Christmas factor in? And I know there's not much time now. You got to run Chicago.
Well, it's definitely. Look, we're at the end of the day. Football doesn't rank first on the hierarchy of needs here, so it's really important for our players and our coaches to be able to be home with their families. So we'll start later on Thursday, come in around 11. Hopefully, it's not ideal, but it should be enough time for them to spend time with their families, and they can get out of here tomorrow night.
Anything else? Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, that was the latest from head coach Mike McDonald in terms of any injury updates. No real update on Ken Walker, who has that ankle injury, says they're getting additional tests done. He said Zach Charbonnet was limited in this one, but is trending in a good direction. So if it needs to be Zach Charbonnet starting in this game for Ken, it sounds like that's certainly something the Seahawks can roll with. Will they actually roll with running the ball a bit more than we saw against the Vikings? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll certainly find out. Let's spend just the next couple minutes here, Bump, talking about our caller question so we can get people kind of primed and ready to call in. That number is going to be 866-979-3776. Again, 866-979-3776. You are calling in, and your question is pretty easy. It's open-ended. It leaves a lot of potential answers. What has become clear to you about the Seahawks? We got 2 weeks left to play in the regular season. Knock on wood. We'll see if that can become the postseason as well. But 2 games left to play. We have watched 15 games. What has become clear to you about the Seahawks? You can take it a number of directions. Bump, remind me, the one that you said was, that they're almost.
They're almost.
Almost
not quite
there, but not quite.
Got some work to do. They have some bright spots.
Yeah.
They have some talent out there, but it's about when coaching and talent collide for consistent play throughout the duration of a season. That's what the good teams do. And we've seen spurts, 4-game spurt where you win 4 in a row, 3-game spurt when you win 3 in a row, but you got 3 games where you lose, 2 games where you lose, and you're not on another 2-game skid. So it's about it's being consistent.
Yeah.
Ulach, they got some pieces.
Curtis, what has become clear to you about the Seahawks now that we're heading, my math is right, 2 more games?
2 more games. What's clear to me is that, JSN's your number 1 receiver.
That's a good one.
It's frankly not really that close right now. He is your most dependable target, and he is going to be the person you've got to get the ball to the most, I think, offensively at this point in the season.
You guys have a lot of potential answers. I went the boring route, but still, I think, completely fair, which was it's clear that the offensive line needs a lot of help. What has become clear to you? Maybe what's become clear is Mike McDonald is the guy. Maybe Ryan Grubb isn't. Maybe what's become clear to you is Ryan Grubb needs more time. Maybe what's become clear to you is Geno is better than you thought. Maybe what's become clear is they need to move on and draft a quarterback. Maybe what's become clear is they need to trade DK. Maybe what's become clear is they need to pay him. Whatever. You could go a number of directions with this question. What's become clear to you? At this point, there is no doubt in your mind. You know this to be true about your Seahawks. 866-979-3776. Call now.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
Mike Tirico, best in the business, just phenomenal.
And ditto back to you guys. I seriously do a bunch of these, and a lot of folks do a great job. You two as a combo in this show is really, really good. I hope the listeners enjoy and appreciate what they have, and I always love coming on with you guys. You're both wonderful, so thanks so much.
They don't. No, they just make fun of us all the time, so that's fine. Thank you for telling them that. Maybe somebody will finally convince them that that's true.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
If you're looking to build a beautiful new custom deck, now is the time to take advantage of off-season savings from MasterDecks. Save big. Save up to $7,500 off your new deck from MasterDecks. From design to completion, Masterdecks does it all, building dream decks of all shapes and sizes across the Puget Sound. Don't miss out on off-season savings. Save up to $7,500 off your new deck. Get started today. Go to masterdecks.com. Masterdecks.com.
My wife and I always loved doing everything together. Jiu-jitsu, kayaking, and intimacy was always on point. It was around my early 30s when I noticed a downward trend. Watching a lot of TV, putting on weight, and just full of self-doubt. I had tried another men's clinic with disappointing results. It's the personalized treatment I receive at Revive Men's Health that has been the complete game changer for me. I've got my energy and motivation back. I'm feeling stronger than I did in my 20s, and it made me a much better husband to my wife.
This is Dr. Andrew Elshouse of Revive Men's Health. If you're always feeling tired or moody, or your sleep is poor, you have low libido, you may be suffering from low testosterone.
Book your free T-check and exam. Call Revive Men's Health Seattle at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Fires, back shoulder, end zone, touchdown, Seahawks, Barner.
Anything you see that goes wrong, put it on me.
Throw down the middle, JSN, what a catch over the shoulder between two defenders.
Against a team like this, the unforced errors has to get cleaned up. Starts with me.
Gonna let it fly. Got DK in the backfield. He's got it. Touchdown! Seahawks back in the end zone. DK Metcalf.
We are the home of the Seahawks.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Lowe's knows how to help you save time and money, no matter the job. That's why we can deliver supplies to your job site as soon as same day, so you have more time to get the job done. Because when you need it fast, we've got you covered. Lowe's knows pros. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the propane tank on your grill first, before hosting a tailgate.
Let's fire up. Here, let me try. Seriously? You didn't check the propane? Who wants chips?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Salt and vinegar?
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
We are 15 games into the season, week 17 and 18 still to go, a Thursday night game against the Chicago Bears, and then what might be a game for the division against the Rams in week 18. Let's hope, knock on wood, the Rams lose to the Arizona Cardinals and that the Seahawks can get the NFC West with that one, but not there yet. Got to beat the Bears first. What's become clear to you about the Seahawks team? We've watched a lot of Seahawks football under this new head coach, under this new offensive coordinator, and with some new faces, and we've learned a lot. This question, your answer to it, may have changed quite a bit over the last many, many weeks. Your call-in number is going to be 866-979-3776. I'll let you know when we get an open line so that you aren't just calling in blindly here. Let's go to LG in Buffalo, our first caller. What's become clear to you about the Seahawks, LG?
What's up, Stacey? How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good,
Merry
LG.
Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.
All right. Thank you. So, obviously, I think you could say the obvious one is the offensive line. Don't have the horses. And without the horses up front, it's hard to do anything offensively, and that carries over defensively. However, I'm going to go a little bit more specific. I think Mike McDonald, this is kind of like a trial and error season for him, to the point where he's almost caught between, I got to do the best job that I can do, obviously, with the guys that I have, versus to really, really work my genius or prowess, I need different pieces. So I think he's kind of caught in between. And even if you listen to his press conference with, talking about the DK play, the Geno interception, we'll handle that in-house. To me, that kind of means somebody messed up. It's an effort thing, execution thing. Is this going to be a recurring theme? So that's my take on it. Thank you for taking the call. Merry Christmas.
Thanks, LG. Merry Christmas.
Feliz Navidad.
Bump, what do you think about LG saying, I feel like sometimes McDonald might be coaching for a team he wants, and as a new coach is still figuring out the picture of the one he has?
I think that's fair. I think this whole year is about collecting the data. What team did I think I have coming out of training camp? Who were they after that first month? Who were they in the middle of this thing? What do I have now? Then at the end of the season is going to be, what do we need moving forward? It's a constant assessment. And I think every coach does that. It's not just Mike McDonald who's doing it, but when it's your first year as a head coach in a place where you do have some leftover meatloaf in the fridge, you're trying to figure out what exactly is needed and what isn't needed. And it's a bit more drastic than, say, a Sean McVay who has a system that works, or Kyle Shanahan who has a system that works. You're trying to figure it out. So, yeah, I can agree with that.
Open line, 866-979-3776. Brady and Curtis are ready to answer. What's become clear to you about this Seahawks team? Let's go to Nelson in Kent. Nelson, what's become clear to you?
Yo, happy holidays. That was a bummer loss. But, what's clear to me is that this team is close to being really good. They just need a few tweaks here and there. I know everybody wants to, not everybody, but there's a good chunk of people that just think you can replace the quarterback and all of a sudden everything else is going to get better. And that's not how football works. There's very few elite quarterbacks who can overcome bad offensive line play. I mean, you look at the bottom 10 offensive lines in football, all of those teams are pretty bad teams. And really the only good quarterbacks in that group that I would consider good are Geno and Burrow. And Burrow and the Bengals are going to miss the playoffs. I'm not blaming Burrow for that. But, it's just frustrating because we're so close, but we keep shooting ourselves in the foot. But I'm also not extremely mad the way some other people are, because the reality is, which some people don't want to agree with, but the reality is, if you look at the last 3 years, I mean, and I know gambling in Las Vegas doesn't really tell you how good a team is, but the Seahawks win totals those years, the over-unders were 5.5, 8.5, and 7.5. And they've exceeded those every single time. This is a team that has exceeded their expectations based on the talent that they have. And a large part of that is because of Geno. Does Geno make some mistakes? That first interception was terrible. Absolutely. But like McDonald said, that touchdown late in the game, man, if the defense holds, you're looking at that game completely different. And I just want to say one more thing on since Geno's been a quarterback, 2022, and this is from Ben Baldwin, 20th pass blocking O-line, 18th run blocking O-line, 11th in EPA. Last year, 28th pass blocking O-line, 15th run blocking O-line, 10th in EPA per play. And this year, 25th pass blocking, 27th run blocking, and 18th in EPA. This is an offensive line issue. John Schneider has to get it fixed. And for any fan that thinks that you're going to draft a young quarterback who's going to come in and play well with this offensive line, just look at Caleb Williams. Look at what's happening to C.J. Stroud this year. The only reason Stroud's in the playoffs is because that division is terrible. So you need to fix the front. There's no quarterback that's going to come out in free agency or in the draft and make this team better right now. You got Geno for a few years. Ride it out. Fix the line. Yeah. I think they need another wide receiver. If DK wants top 5 wide receiver money,
Nelson,
you got to let him walk.
All right. Thanks for the call, Nelson. I got full phone lines. I got to keep it moving. But thank you for the call. 866-979-3776. What's become clear to you about this Seahawks team so far? LG says Mike McDonald might be coaching for the team he wants or is still trying to figure out the team he has and maybe doesn't have a full picture of that yet. Nelson says they're close to being really good, just need a few tweaks, and one of them should be improving that offensive line for Geno. Let's go to Robert in Issaquah. Robert, what's become clear to you about the Seahawks?
Hey, Merry Christmas, you guys, and thanks for taking my call.
Merry Christmas.
What's become clear to me, compared to last year, all right, this defense keeps you in games. I know they gave up that one drive, to Anderson, that touchdown, that kind of sucked. But look at it. I'm looking at the stats right now. Compared to last year, Vikings would have ran over us if we still had that defense that Pete Carroll was running. So that's the progression I'm seeing. I'm also seeing, what did we just hear Mike McDonald say, that reporter say about the offensive line? Geno Smith only took 3 hits after the second quarter or something like that. Mm-hmm. That's progression right there. I'm not expecting a 10-win football team this year. What I was expecting is progression from both the defense and offense, and I'm seeing it in some cases, and I'm not seeing it in other cases, and that would be what everyone's been saying, the O-line. That's got to be fixed. But the defense, yeah, you can definitely see the progression there. Have a good day, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for the call, Robert. Bump, have you seen enough from this team to feel good about where the defense is going? I know that we're coming off back-to-back losses where the defense gave up 30 points and then 27. But how are you feeling about them?
I'm feeling better about it. Before the show, I went and looked at some numbers to kind of, I know what I'm looking at, but also want to pair it with numbers. Mm-hmm. Last year, they were the 30th defense overall. This year, they're 17th. Last year, they were 15th against the pass. This year, they're 4th. Last year, they were 31st, allowing $138 on the ground. This year, they're 18th. And last year, they were 24th when it comes to giving up points. This year, they're 13th. Numbers are better. I think eye tests are better as well.
Let's go to Jim in Puyallup. Jim, what's become clear to you about the Hawks?
Well, what's clear to me is that when the players take the field, coaching basically stops. Now they have to execute the game plan. Russell Wilson ran for his life. We've seen Geno running for his life. We also see that Geno doesn't really make good, consistent decisions. When he's on, he's spot on. He's a Super Bowl quarterback. But when he's not, man, I'd put the Puyallup high school team against the Seahawks, and I think they'd do pretty darn good.
Disrespectful.
I think McDonald, he's just getting started. I think we're going to see some great things from him. But that offensive line and some consistency out of Geno is what we need going into 2025. And I hope, I pray, maybe we'll be having a much different conversation a year from now.
Thanks for the call, Jim. 866-979-3776. I got 2 more open lines. Hopefully I can get through all of our callers here. So far, all different answers. And
Yeah.
I'm surprised there's one we haven't heard yet.
Which one? I mean, didn't he just say that? Offensive line, Geno consistency, Puyallups better than
I'm shocked
Seahawks.
no one has said what's become clear is we need to cut Geno or we need to trade DK. Like, I'm shocked we haven't heard some pretty emphatic.
Because it only happens on text.
I'm just saying.
It only happens on text.
That's why I'm saying it. It's like the whole morning has been text line being like, you need to do this. And I'm just a little surprised I'm not hearing it.
Me too.
866-979-3776. What's become clear to you about this Seahawks team? We got open lines. Call now, 866-979-3776. Let's go to Paul in Lake City. Paul, what's become clear to you?
Hey, Stacey, Bond, thanks for taking my call, and Merry Christmas to all of you.
Merry Christmas.
You too.
Yeah, so I think what is clear to me is that I do think Geno Smith with the Seahawks could win a Super Bowl. I can see it. We've seen the highs. We've seen his arm throwing talent when he's on. It's very good and it's very high. But with that being said, when I envision Geno Smith hoisting the Lombardi trophy if it's at all possible, I do see it under two conditions. And one of them is that the Seahawks have at least a great defense, a great to an elite defense. We're moving in that direction. The other one, though, is that there is at least an average running game to not a great running game. Those two things, I think, have to happen if Geno Smith is going to be winning a Super Bowl with the Seahawks, because the talent is there. But those two things clearly have to happen. We've seen what happens if Geno Smith does not have a good running game. You're just putting too much on his plate. That's why there's interceptions. I don't think we can move off from him just yet. There's so much talent. I think Geno Smith can win a Super Bowl for the Seahawks, but to do that, they need those two things. So I'm curious to know what you guys think. Merry Christmas to all of you guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Feliz Navidad.
You think the Seahawks could win a Super Bowl with Geno?
Yeah, I said that at the beginning of the year.
You did.
Yeah.
I feel silly asking you when I know the answer is yes, but what
Yeah.
context, like Paul, do you think is important?
Oh, man, you need the support, right? Like for students who are struggling in school, right? They're struggling in math. Math used to kick my butt in school, right? You need the proper support. But, you know, once you get it, once you figure out, like, the process for an equation or something, boom, we good. We rolling now. I got it. I've been supported. I've gone to my tutor. I've studied. I have someone helping me. I've done all these worksheets and stuff. I think that's Geno. If Geno's supported correctly, he'll figure out the equation. He's shown they can figure out the equation, but it's like, all right, I can't figure out the equation all the time when the offensive line isn't protecting me, and we're becoming predictable sometimes on offense, and maybe me and the receivers aren't on the same page. It takes more for Geno to be a Super Bowl quarterback than it would obviously Josh Allen, Lamar, even like a Purdy or somebody. It takes more. He's a different student. But if he's supported properly, yeah I think he could. If you put him, I said this before, put him on the lines, we have the same expectations.
Exactly. I like as an exercise deciding, like, would this quarterback be like this in another team? Like, I think Patrick Mahomes could succeed on any team to different varying degrees. Joe Burrow, Josh, all the names that you guys are expecting. This is boring now. What becomes far more interesting is, like, could Brock Purdy look the way Brock Purdy does on the Jags? Could Brock Purdy look the way Brock Purdy does on Seattle? He probably would not have the same numbers. Likewise, would Sam Darnold have the season he's having now with Seattle? I don't think so. Would he have the season he's having now with San Francisco? Maybe in a healthier San Francisco year. Sure. I mean, that's great skill position players, great play caller as a head coach. So you have to have the resources around you. What quarterback takes a good team to make them a playoff caliber, to make them a Super Bowl contender, is when you start getting into, like, well, what's the ceiling of these guys? So I love those conversations, but always important.
Listen,
Joe
Burrow's having a great year. He can't even make the Bengals a playoff team.
No. Did you see that play? He was at that touchdown. He had as he was falling down.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Stupid.
Julio in Mill Creek, what's becoming clear to you about the Seahawks?
Well, obviously, the generic line is that the interior of the line has been stinking up the joint, and it's affecting a few things. It's affecting Geno's inconsistency, and because of that, our evaluation of Geno, as well as when it does pop up, it forces Geno to not go through his progressions and it hurries him into interceptions that then cause games like yesterday. Ultimately, my point is that my fear, and I preface this by saying I'm a huge John Schneider fan. Without John, we don't have our title. But he has been on record saying that he will not overvalue and overpay for guards, whether it's through free agency or the draft. And my fear is that if he continues that stubbornness, we're not going to ultimately improve guard play and move this team forward if we keep kind of shopping at garage sales to get the LeMayas or the Laken Tomlinsons of the world. And, forgive me, they're trying their best, but we really have to focus in free agency and in the draft on blue chippers on that interior to basically consolidate that line into something good.
Thanks for the call, Julio. I'm going to throw Julio's point your way, Bump, as a question. Julio said, look, what's become clear to me is that interior offensive line help might not come with John Schneider as GM. Like, I'm starting to have a real fear that we may not have a top 5 unit. We may not have that group. What is the single greatest question John Schneider is facing? It doesn't have to be that, but for you, single greatest question John Schneider's facing as he enters this offseason.
How do things look different when Pete's not here? He's had 1 year to do it. And Schneider is the common denominator when you look at all the years of the offensive line play with Pete and then the struggles so far this year with McDonald. But I also think that he needs a couple years, too, to figure out how him and McDonald are going to mesh. Because I guarantee you things are different. The process is different. Values are different. We're going off of what John – when did people always bring that up? When did John Schneider put out that he devalued – the offensive line or guards?
Wyman and Bob, I think during the John Schneider show, they were talking about a recent contract extension this past year.
This past year.
I think this past year.
All right, so let's see if this year changes his mind a bit.
Very true. Let's go to Brian in Maple Valley. Brian, what's become clear to you about the Hawks?
That Tyler Lockett is done. I'd like to get Bump's take on this as a former NFL receiver. I know I'm not the guy out there getting hit by DBs and safeties, but the play that frustrated me in the game yesterday is he catches a pass and there's no one within 3 yards of him, and he immediately drops to the ground and rolls forward for the first down. I think he's just disappeared.
Thanks for the call, Brian. Bump.
Yeah, I think Tyler Lockett has entered a place in his career where it's survival at this point. And, he has nothing else to prove. I think he knows he's not the number one. He's not the 2. If he can catch a few footballs, get a first down, then so be it. Here's the thing. I was frustrated when I saw him go down. Thankfully, he rolled for the first down. Even if he doesn't roll, he's not going to get more than 2 more extra yards than what he got. I think that just comes down to where you are in your career and what you're okay with putting on film. And clearly, Tyler Lockett is fine with that.
Let's go to Anthony in Gig Harbor. Anthony, what's become clear to you about the Seahawks?
Well, to be honest, I love Geno Smith, but we need to upgrade our offensive line. So trading him in the offseason, letting Sam Howell play out his year, see how he does, is what needs to happen.
All right, thank you. Anthony, I'm going to see if you can – I'll let you jump the line here. See if you can hang up and give a quick call back to our phone line, 866-979-3776. I won't make you wait in line. If you call back, I'll go ahead and jump back to your call. We just got you breaking up pretty badly. But we'll jump to your point quickly. Anthony said, look, playoff run or not, they're going to need to upgrade at quarterback and offensive line.
I think it's more important and more urgent that you upgrade at offensive line. Quarterback, it's so hard. Quarterback's hard to upgrade at. I mean, that's why I am probably a bit more accepting of who Geno is, because I've realized that there isn't a quarterback that's just going to fly in here with a cape and save the day, because you're still going to have some of the same issues with the offensive line. Mm-hmm. And I see what Geno can do from a clean pocket. Does he make poor decisions at times? Yes, he does. For some reason, people don't hear me when I say that. They only hear when I point out the good part of Geno. So, yeah, he makes poor decisions, but I think that it's all about the bigs. The bigs on the O-line, the bigs on the D-line. They control the game.
All right, Anthony, I promise if I see your name pop back up here, I'll get to you next since you've already been waiting. Let's go to Dell in Florida. Dell, what's become clear to you about the Hawks?
That the
the overall scouting department is not recruiting the right linemen for this particular team.
Okay.
And also, I think we should go to a Baltimore Raven type of offense with a running quarterback.
Thank you, Del.
Eventually.
What do you make of Dell's points, too, here? One, we've got a problem developing offensive linemen. It has become clear that this is more than just bad luck. And two, that he'd like to see a Baltimore Ravens-style offense.
Clearly, there is an issue with evaluation with offensive linemen. Either a problem with evaluation or the problem with spending there.
Mm-hmm.
Because we heard Schneider talk about, what he values on a football team and how much he's willing to kind of spend. Alluded to, didn't give us a number, but we see where he values offensive linemen. Oh, I would love a Lamar Jackson. I would love a Josh Allen. I would love to run an offense like that with a big D Henry in the backfield. Goodness, could you imagine?
Let's go back to Anthony in Gig Harbor. Anthony, thanks for giving us a call back. I will give you the floor. What's become clear to you about the Seahawks?
I'm sorry about the service. So I'm not saying that Geno needs to be upgraded because I don't think there is an upgrade out there. But unfortunately, we need to free up money to build the offensive line and build the team around maybe a less better quarterback in order to make the team better.
Okay. So what's become clear to you, just don't hang up on Anthony yet. So just to clarify, I don't want to summarize the wrong thing. So what's become clear to you is maybe there are so many roster things that they may be unable to keep expensive quarterbacks or expensive players, that like they need to solve this and need as much capital as they can.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, that being said, whether they re-sign DK or not, that's kind of iffy because, being got another year to play, maybe let him play. But I think Draymond Jones hasn't done enough on the line on defense, so maybe that can also free up some more space as well. And then hopefully get better picks in order to compensate this. And maybe Geno plays out this year, maybe he doesn't, but we just need that line to get better.
All right.
You know what that reminds me of?
What's that? Thank you, Anthony.
Of how people sometimes be like, man, let's trade Demo and go get yourself a nice bat. Go trade. So it's like, I get what you're saying, but Dre Jones would have to be performing at a crazy level for someone to give up a high draft
Anything.
pick. Yeah.
Let's wrap up with Jason on hold the longest, keeping it fair. Jason, what's become clear to you about this Seahawks team?
Well, what's clear is they're not running the ball. But what's not clear is why aren't they running the ball? Is it because they're just giving up too fast? Or I don't know. That's what plays they should be running the ball. They're throwing it.
Yeah.
And not even giving it a chance. I feel like they're giving up way too fast on the run.
Thank you for the call, Jason. I like that as a final one. I'm going to throw it Bump's way. Bump, I'm with Jason on this one. And I asked you before the show started. I was like, make it make sense. Jason said, what's become clear is we can't run the football, but I'm not sure why we aren't. Why do you think?
I think it's a philosophy thing.
Okay.
I think it's a circumstances. There's a lot of things that play into it. Philosophy, circumstances, execution of the offensive line, and then maybe Grubb's belief that we are better off throwing the football than running it because I have more belief in that. And we know where he comes from. UW had the best passing offense in the game, one of the best we've seen in the last 10 years in college football. That's who Grubb is. He also had a 1,000-yard rusher and the best offensive line in college football.
Right.
He don't have that right now.
This is a conversation I'm sure we're going to talk about a ton Thursday when you and I are back on air. Obviously, we're off tomorrow and Christmas Day, but we do have a live show. Bump has a long day Thursday. He's going to take you into the pregame show, and I'm sure the guys are going to be talking about the run game and how they can get that going as well. Coming up next, though, before we get to that, we've got Christmas Day games, giving you a preview in just minutes.
This is Seattle Sports.
An absolute laser thrown out of a bazooka from Geno Smith.
Yeah, we got to go in and put it behind us now. We got to get ready for Chicago.
Darnold being chased. He goes down. Boye Mafe coming off the edge.
I thought defensively they fought their tails off all game.
Here comes the rush. Geno steps up. He throws. He's got Jackson Smith and Jigba. Touchdown! Seahawks!
We gave ourselves a shot. Obviously didn't get it done, but we got a short week. Got to get back to it, man. We got to get our minds right and get back to work.
We are the home of the Seahawks.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The Pacific Northwest is the perfect backdrop for the holiday season. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law reminds us that the roadways don't always agree.
It's that combination of additional travel, changes in routine, and winter weather that make this the most dangerous time of the year to be behind the wheel.
Any safety tips to help commuters keep the holidays joyful?
The number one cause of accidents remains distracted driving, even during the holidays. So store that cell phone in a place that eliminates temptation. It's imperative we set the example for our teens. Also, be aware of abrupt changes in the weather and prepare for it. Sometimes it's as simple as allowing additional distance for following or stopping. Lastly, make sure your vehicle is properly maintained for winter.
That includes four-wheel drive and chains when required at the pass. Please follow these safety precautions from my good friends at Pendergast Law and keep you and your neighbors safe this holiday season.
Happy holidays from all of us at Pendergast Law.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Chronic pain can be so life-changing that it causes depression. The effects can strain relationships and tear families apart. If chronic pain is impacting you or someone you love, don't wait to get help. I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. If your family is missing the person they once knew, schedule a free consultation to learn if our non-surgical and drug-free approach could help you get your life back. At Sound Pain Solutions, we've treated thousands of patients suffering from neuropathy, neck and back pain, and complex joint problems. Our personalized treatments include state-of-the-art technology like bioelectric therapy, laser, regenerative injections, pressure wave treatment, and others that stimulate healing naturally. Get a new focus on your family and the activities you enjoy, not your pain, medications, and limitations. To learn if you qualify for our non-surgical and drug-free treatment, call us at Sound Pain Solutions or visit soundpainsolutions.com.
Cougs versus everybody. Washington State heads to San Diego on Friday, December 27th to face Syracuse in the 2024 Holiday Bowl. Kickoff at Snapdragon Stadium set for 5 p.m. Pregame starts at 3. On your home for Cougar football. AM 770 KTTH.
So here's the deal with Mariners season ticket memberships. You've got two great options. With a Flex membership, you have the freedom to pick your seats, games, and number of tickets whenever you want. Or if you like knowing where you're sitting all season long, go with a reserved membership and lock in your seats from day one. Both plans get you access to exclusive pre-sales, year-round discounts, special event invites, and more. Check it out at mariners.com/25.
Now Raleigh wins it in the 10th inning for the Mariners.
The holidays remind us how good it feels to be proud and confident in our appearance when gathering with friends and family. If hair loss is getting in your way, then my good friends at Advanced Hair offer the proven solution. It's the simple one-day treatment I received, the Advanced FUE. Advanced Hair begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day, and that new hair is guaranteed to grow for life. You choose how much and where, and they do the rest. Advanced Hair has helped tens of thousands of people, including me, and they are the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. World-class Dr. Perongo and his top-rated team use breakthrough technology, delivering real results. The before and afters at advancedhair.com are surprising and incredible. Address thinning, receding, or balding today. And to celebrate the holidays, get a free consultation, 250 free hair grafts, and $250 off. Simply call 425-449-8185. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Shane Company is your go-to destination for high-quality fine jewelry gifts. Come find beautiful gifts at competitive prices, from dream engagement rings to tennis bracelets, engravable charms, and more. All in stock and ready to give. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
We are Seattle Sports. 7:10 a.m. on your radio. Streaming through the Seattle Sports app. Get new videos, podcasts, and articles on the Seahawks and Mariners from your favorite Seattle sports personalities daily. Seahawks Player Spotlight.
Man, it felt good to go out there and be able to contribute.
Exclusive interviews with your favorite Seahawks.
You know, we got a genius as the head coach.
Every day with Wyman and Bob. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Beginning to look a lot.
Oh, look at that.
Christmas.
It's Christmas on Wednesday, and Netflix has 2 NFL games.
Hey, can I say something real quick?
Mm-hmm.
As a child,
Mm-hmm.
used to listen to Christmas music growing up.
Yeah.
And then the first time I heard Dreaming of a White Christmas, like, what's a white Christmas? What you mean a white Christmas?
Hang on, why? Why?
What are you trying to say?
What are you saying? Oh, you're dreaming of a white Christmas?
Oh, white. It's different.
Yeah,
huh?
Oh, wow. But not a black Christmas,
Not
I
a
guess.
black one, though.
Oh, okay.
I grew up in Cali. I didn't know snow, white.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the heck?
I would think I'd be like, wow, that's incredibly racist.
I was like, you really singing this song right now? Y'all really playing this right now? At the Christmas concert?
Oh, God. Wednesday, December 25th. Kansas City Chiefs taking on Pittsburgh at 10 a.m. Your afternoon game, the Baltimore Ravens heading to Houston to take on C.J. Stroud and the Texans. We're going to spend the next 8 minutes or so while you get your questions in for what I need to know. Previewing these two, we'll start with Kansas City. Luckiest team in football. Looking to improve to, 15-1? They're going to have to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, though. Good season from Russell Wilson. Solid season overall. A playoff team. What are you looking at with this one, Bum?
I'm looking
I
at...
should be sipping something.
I know, right? I can't even talk my regular voice. You know, Stacy, with this game
I'm actually
here.
playing like Yule log stream right now. That's where this music's coming from.
You know, Stacy, here on this Christmas game taking place at 10 a.m.
Yeah. We can turn down the background
It's going to
music
be
now.
no, I like it. Gotta
You do?
be
You
my
like
mood.
it? Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
gotta be
We
my
can turn it
mood.
back up. We can turn it back
Okay,
up.
it's
Put your robe on, put your slippers on.
Patrick Mahomes
Yeah,
and the
cozy.
Chiefs taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers and Russell Wilson. Are they for real? Can the Steelers win the AFC
This is our coziest
North?
segment, by the way.
Easily. This is an Ugg slipper of a segment.
But it's going down. We all know that. Pat Mahomes fakes injuries just playing. just playing. Okay.
No, I like it that the segment becomes like, hey, so Christmas
He
preview.
does, though.
Pat Mahomes has been lying. No, turn this music down. Pat Mahomes does not have a high ankle sprain. We're going to start the preview with that. There is no way on this planet Earth, Patrick, that you have a serious high ankle sprain and did not miss a day of practice. I'm calling shenanigans. Baloney.
Listen, I've had a high ankle sprain. Yeah, come on, bro.
Come on, bro.
You had an ankle sprain. Okay, just call it what it is.
Be real with
High ankle
yourself.
sprain is like, listen, this man could barely walk.
Yes.
How is it? He's in a boot all week. He can't put any pressure
No.
on it. I've had a high ankle sprain.
It's a whisper away from a fracture. Just, your leg's broken.
I mean, hey, you could tell that his gait wasn't the same, right? There was
Sure.
a little something to it, but there ain't no there was no high ankle sprain here. But he did go out, competed, played well, and I expect him to win this ball game.
Mm-hmm.
Until someone beats them, I will believe in them. That's just how you got to do with the Chiefs, man. So big ups. I would love for the Steelers to get this done, but I think that this is a Mahomes magic, man. He's good to go.
I agree. I think it's going to be the Chiefs winning this one, and I really do wish that it could be a surprise and we could sit and watch Russell Wilson and the Steelers take this win with what's been a very surprising team for them. But the Chiefs have one loss heading into Christmas Day, and I don't know that that's going to become two. So let's move on. I mean, two really good defenses. The Steelers having the edge there, but could end up
Spread's only
being
3 points,
low-scoring.
though. 3.5, I think. Yeah.
Let's go to Baltimore versus Houston, a game I have a tougher time predicting. Houston going to be without wide receiver Tank Dell, who's done for the season. Baltimore coming in here, underperforming for their measure, but still with a solid season overall from Jackson, certainly from Derrick Henry. What do you see with this one?
I see the best quarterback in the game right now suiting up in Lamar Jackson. Put some respect on his name. If his team had 3 more wins, we'd be talking MVP with him, but that's not the case. I'll still take Pat Mahomes over him, though. Don't get it twisted. But Baltimore Ravens, man, here's the thing. They're so up and down, but I think that Houston suffered a big blow to their roster, losing Tank Dell. Even though they are going to Houston, you're going to be indoors. I think that's going to make it even better for Lamar Jackson. He's just taking care of the football, playing at a high level, and that Houston offensive line is not the greatest. They're just not the greatest.
No.
So you're putting a bit more pressure on C.J. Stroud. And when you lose a weapon like that, you're going up against the Ravens, who are number 2 in the league when it comes to sacks, getting after the quarterback. I mentioned Stroud is like top 3 or 4 when it comes to sacks. I think it's going to be a long day for the Texans.
Are you taking Baltimore and Kansas City, both road teams, in this one?
Yep.
All right. I think I am too. I'm going to copy you. Again, Kansas City at Pittsburgh, 10 a.m. on Netflix. Baltimore at Houston, 1:30 p.m. I think my biggest question with both of these games has nothing to do with the players themselves. It's, will Netflix's stream actually hold up? Do you know how many people are going to be watching these games? And both are on Netflix?
It didn't glitch during the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight.
That's true. But will more people watch these games than that fight?
No.
I don't actually know.
No, I don't think so.
How many people watch that fight?
It's like 60 million.
60 million.
Oh,
I don't
okay,
think these games are getting close to that.
Okay, well, then my hopes are higher now, Netflix. You've proven me wrong. I stand corrected. 206, Steelers are going to win. It's all I want for Christmas. I think the Steelers have the best shot of the two home teams.
Yeah, I think they do.
But
because their defense is always solid. They've been playing good this year. Yeah.
Lamar's having a better season than Josh Allen.
Statistically, yes. I think that Josh Allen just doesn't have the weapons, right? Gabe left. Stephon Diggs is gone. You lose some pieces on defense. So no one expected the Bills to do what they were doing. That's why Josh gets the nod and he's not turning the football over. But just pure numbers.
Yeah.
Only Burrow is really messing with Lamar when it comes to throwing the football, but Lamar has a running aspect too.
Poor Joe Burrow. It really is absolutely insane that a team with the top passer in the league right now, top wide receiver in the league right now, is probably not touching the playoffs. I don't think they've been eliminated. Yeah, there's still a chance, but the second they lose, they're out. 866-979-3776. Get your questions in for what I need to know. Someone said, I love the idea of a young bump being horrified by the idea of White Christmas.
Literally. Had no idea.
So wait, who told you? Like, who did you go to with this information?
Probably my grandma, honestly. She's a OG. She probably laced me up with some game, but I'm like, White Christmas? What does that mean?
Yeah.
So confused.
I would have loved to hear that conversation. Just like, I got a problem with this song, though.
I'm from Cali.
Yeah, this is deeply racist. I'm shocked they're playing it on the smooth jazz station.
I was more like, what's the difference between a white and a black Christmas?
And then they were like, no, it's dreaming of snow on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Oh, God. 866-979-3776. We got 10 more minutes with you guys. Get your questions in for what I need to know. 866-979-3776 to the Mac and Jack's text line. What I need to know is coming your way next.
Fires. Back shoulder. End zone. Touchdown. Seahawks.
With only 2 games left, the Seahawks head to the Windy City for Thursday Night Football.
An absolute laser thrown out of a bazooka from Geno Smith.
Seahawks, Bears.
Throw down the middle. JSN, what a catch over the shoulder between two defenders.
Kickoff at 5:15, pregame starting at 2 on your home for the Hawks, Seattle Sports.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY, and I want to talk to you about the holidays. They're a time for friends, family, good food, and ugly sweaters. But they're also when cops are out in full force, looking to pull you over and find evidence of DUI. During the holiday months at 1-800-DUI-AWAY, we see DUI arrests skyrocket. So if instead of carolers coming to your house, it's a summons to court, call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. We have over 25 years of experience keeping the holidays joyous, because too much of Grandma Betty's eggnog can easily take you on a midnight sleigh ride to jail. Call 1-800-DUI-AWAY or go to 1-800-DUI-AWAY.com to set up a free private consultation in Seattle, Bellevue, Everett, or Tacoma. Don't drink and drive this holiday season, because if you're caught driving with a nose too red and cheeks too jolly, you'll be calling 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
1-800-DUI-AWAY!
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, you know to check that your seats aren't in the visitor section first, before buying tickets.
I'm so excited for this game. I can't believe you got us tickets.
Me too. Wait, are we on the wrong side?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
This is going to be a long game.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
We know you have a lot on your holiday to-do list. And at the UPS Store, we're here to help. With our pack and ship guarantee, your gifts will arrive intact or you'll be reimbursed. Got holiday cards to print? We're also the premier printing store. We've got everything you need for every way you holiday. Visit the upsstore.com/guarantee for full details. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable. Come into your local store today.
Tropical Smoothie Cafe here with your daily reminder to get on Tropic Time. Take 10. Sip a refreshing smoothie and manifest at your cabana side. Slade hot yoga, treat yourself. Crushed back-to-back meetings, get that me time. Adulted a little extra today, you deserve a vacay. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. And when you want a little snack with your smoothie, pair our new Hawaiian barbecue slider with our new caramelized pineapple smoothie for a match made in pineapple paradise. Limited time only.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Tune in this Thursday as the Seahawks take on Chicago. Kickoff at 5:15 p.m. Muckleshoot Casino Resort, proud sponsor of the Seattle Seahawks and the Northwest's biggest and best casino.
When an injury takes your kid out of the game, the team at Seattle Children's is here for you. With the most experienced orthopedics and sports medicine professionals in the Pacific Northwest, Seattle Children's all-star team will get your kid back in the game and back to being a kid. Learn more at seattlechildrens.org.
Cougs versus everybody. Washington State heads to San Diego on Friday, December 27th to face Syracuse in the 2024 Holiday Bowl. Kickoff at Snapdragon Stadium set for 5 p.m. Pregame starts at 3 on your home for Cougar football. AM 770 KTTH. Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing strategies that deliver results. So on your next campaign, aim higher. Go to aimyourdigital.com and get started today. aimyourdigital.com.
Well, Black Friday and Cyber Monday might be over, but it's the season of savings at all 6 Harnish Auto Family dealerships. Take the driver's seat to savings while supplies last on all 2024 models. The Harnish Auto Family has 22 acres of inventory filled with the most popular trucks, SUVs, EVs, and cars from the brands you know and love. Visit HarnishAutoFamily.com or head to Chevrolet and Kia of Everett or Volkswagen, Subaru, and Chevrolet Buick GMC at Puyallup and tell them I sent you. We are the Harnish Auto Family, where people matter.
At Child Fund, hope means helping millions of children living in poverty worldwide grow up healthy, educated, skilled, and safe. And that means safe at home, at school, and online.
Hope means walking this path together, all of us. Because when we work together, we can do so much more.
That's right. Hope includes you.
Child Fund, because we need each other.
Learn more at childfund.org.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Wrapping things up with what I need to know. It's where you text the thing you need to know. Any question you have to the Mac and Jack's text line, 866-979-3776. Says one listener, my wife expects, in quotes, items in the stocking on Christmas Day. I think candy, but sometimes she puts something kind of expensive in mine. What's the game plan to not get burned?
match her energy from last year. Like, what was the most expensive thing she put in there? Get something equivalent.
Yeah, if she put like, here's like a $50 gift card, I would exactly do the exact same thing. Now, you could go above and beyond to buy yourself some wiggle room, but then you risk changing the stakes every year. Well, now next year she's expecting you're going to have a little bracelet in there, like some earrings.
Almost the same thing. She gave you a $50 Nike card, give her a $50 Sephora card.
Yeah.
Does that go far in Sephora? $50?
It's a good item.
Yeah.
Like you can get maybe 2 items, a good skincare item, some nice moisturizer. I think $50 is a very good gift card to be able to take off a good chunk of change from what you'd normally buy. 866-979-3776. What is better, says one listener. Frisco Freeze in Tacoma or Dick's Burgers in Seattle?
Never been to Frisco Freeze.
Never been to Frisco Freeze. Curtis, Brady, have you guys? How is it?
Oh, yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah? What's better?
I mean, I think the iconicness of Dick's Burgers is better from an overall standpoint.
How are the fries at Frisco Freeze? Because here's my thing with Dick's Burgers. Cancel me. Their fries are not good.
I think Frisco Freeze got them better.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the burgers. I mean, they're giving the same vibe. They're giving the same vibe.
You got to love a greasy burger.
Yeah, burger, fine. The fries, though, I need crispiness.
I think the difference, too, it's just one Frisco Freeze. It's just one location, whereas Dick's is probably like, 10 locations or so around around the Puget Sound.
I wanted to try In-N-Out when we were in Boise, but the line was crazy. So we didn't end up going.
You want to try what?
I want to try In-N-Out.
That's pretty standard for In-N-Out.
I know. They have an In-N-Out out there, and the line, there was never not a huge line.
But it moves pretty fast, though. Move faster than you think.
Well, I'll try it next time.
Frisco Freeze has a lot more options, too, that it looks like they've got.
Yeah, what I need to know,
rings.
I want you all to know there's one correct answer to this question.
Oh, I love these.
Who has the best hair at Seattle Sports?
Listen, it's easily you.
Thank you.
All right, but for the men, we're going to throw the men in because you win.
I have the most.
Okay, we're going with contenders.
So now we could go from the men.
Matt Nelson. Matt Nelson has the best guy hair.
Matt has nerdy hair, man.
No, he's got a good head of hair on himself.
Wild card, Lefko's got a lot of hair.
Wild card, Wyman. Look at his hair today.
Wyman's got a lot of hair.
It looks like a greaser.
I think Matt has the best head of hair of any dude at 17.
866-979-3776. I'm obviously the number one answer. Let's see. What I need to know, is it better to get one really great Christmas gift or a few good ones?
For the significant other, I think one great one.
I think so, too.
For the kids, it's a few.
I've always liked that one great Christmas. I mean, when I was little, I just wanted more things to open.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like my mom would literally wrap up literally anything. It could be a $10 gift, a $5 thing. We just loved opening gifts.
Right.
When you get older, you really appreciate a nice item.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like just practical things. Like last year, my wife got me a travel bag with cologne, deodorant, and socks. And I was like, yeah.
That's a great
like this.
gift. What I need to know, says another listener, how big is too big for a TV?
No such thing, sir. If your living room can handle it, if you're not like 10 feet away from it and you got an 85-footer, you know what I'm saying? Or 85-inch. Yeah, I think, man, TVs are great. And they're cheap now. When I got my first TV, first thing I got with my NFL check was a 47-inch television, flat screen. It was $1,400.
You get that for like $300.
Exactly.
Isn't that crazy?
Exactly.
It's like everything else in life has gotten expensive with the exception.
Except for
electronics. Like there are things where like a laptop used to feel so prohibitively expensive, and now you can get
one for like
Macs,
$200.
but yeah, you can get laptops that I would have used in college where it's like you just need Word and the internet.
Mm-hmm.
200, yeah, exactly. A couple $100.
Crazy.
Done. That's insane. Kids these days.
Kids.
866-979-3776. What I need to know, says DJ in Long Beach. Does DK have room to grow as a receiver, and can he?
Yeah, he does, and I think he can. I think it's just a few details. You adjust your routes based off your coverage and leverage, and I don't think he does that enough. I've seen him do it, but he's not consistent enough.
The 425 said, a freaking telephone is $1,500. Yeah, but now all cell phones are computers. That's the difference. Is like every phone you have is just a laptop as a cell.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why they're so expensive. It's insane. 866-979-3776. My wife makes a mean cranberry salsa. What's something you or your wife makes for the holidays that's delicious?
My wife, man, my delegation, your mac and cheese better be on point. And she's come a long way with the mac and cheese.
Dang.
It is on point. It's so on point that when we go to my in-laws, I have her make her own batch for the house. I go, no. We got to have our own.
I don't want to be the person that takes, takes the leftovers with me when we go. I can't be tacky.
Yeah.
So we got to make double.
Got to make double.
866-979-3776. Will both DK and Geno be on the Seahawks beyond the 2025 season?
No.
I don't think so either.
No.
I don't know if it's one or both, but I just have a hard time seeing it. Which of your favorite Christmas traditions do your kids also like?
Eating a lot.
Opening presents.
Yeah. We didn't have really. We play more board games during the holidays, though. You're intentional with your family time, a bit more intentional, so we do that.
What was your home run gift from when you were a kid?
Xbox.
Xbox?
The first one.
Dang.
With the big old controller.
Dang.
Yeah.
I mean, as the only woman, mine are going to be a little different from your guys'.
Easy bake?
That wasn't my home run gift. I did have an easy bake oven. I had every Barbie to ever exist, every Beanie Baby, maybe a giant. My grandpa, when I was younger, built me a dollhouse for all my dolls.
Wow.
That was my best gift I ever. I've had it for years. I still have it. I'm just kidding.
I would say
I don't still have it.
Getting jerseys.
Yeah, jerseys were dope.
That was always good. Good gift.
Good question. My wife's birthday is 2 days after Christmas, says the 706. Should her birthday present be better than her Christmas present?
Lucky for you, 706, we have somebody on the show today whose birthday is Christmas Day.
Wow. Oh my God, happy birthday!
A Christmas birthday insider.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Take it away,
Okay,
Brady.
what would you want?
What would I want? The question is, should the birthday present be bigger than the Christmas present?
And as someone whose birthday is literally on Christmas, how would you feel?
It's all the same.
I mean, in terms of how you do it that way, if you're getting them both at the same time, I would anticipate the birthday one having at least more significance, not necessarily monetary value, but it means more.
There's that software nerd coming out right there.
Public speaking at its finest.
I see you.
And I'm going to go develop an app about this.
Someone said...
Hey, at least Bump thinks my dad's from the hood.
I need some investors.
You thought my dad had a hood name.
What's his name again?
Matt.
What?
Nah.
No.
You guys were guessing it, and you were like, he's probably got some hood name.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I thought you said I thought Matt was a hood name.
I love that we started and ended the show by just making fun of Brady for just everyone. Just get it out of your system now. Just nerd, get out of here, Brady. Brady, thank you for filling in today. We appreciate it. For Curtis Rogers, Michael Bumpus, I'm Stacey Rost. We will be back with you live on Thursday. Wyman and Bob coming your way next.
This is Seattle Sports.
An absolute laser thrown out of a bazooka from Geno Smith.
Yeah, we got to go in and put it behind us now. We got to get ready for Chicago.
Darnold being chased. He goes down. Boye Mafe coming off the edge.
I thought defensively they fought their tails off all game.
Here comes the rush. Geno steps up. He throws. He's got Jackson Smith and Jigba. Touchdown! Seahawks!
We gave ourselves a shot. Obviously didn't get it done, but got a short week. Got to get back to it, man. We got to get our minds right and get back to work.
We are the home of the Seahawks.
This holiday season, give the gift of Mariners baseball. Why settle for a pair of socks when you can grab a pair of tickets to see the Red Sox? A gift card? Skip it. And snag seats to see the Cardinals. A wine opener? Or how about an opening day trip to T-Mobile Park? For tickets and our complete schedule of marquee matchups, including the Yankees and Dodgers, plus can't miss collectibles, fireworks nights, $10 value seats, and more, visit Mariners.com.
A walk-off grand slam for Cal Raleigh.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 206-529-1111 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
This is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. For over 30 years, Big Trees has been helping homeowners and businesses move trees with advanced equipment and a professional and proven transplant process. Need a tree moved on your property or off-site? Trust the experts at Big Trees. Learn more about our transplanting process at bigtreesupply.com.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Enjoy an incredible year-end savings on new BMWs and over 200 pre-owned of all makes and models. Only at BMW Northwest. Visit bmwnorthwest.com today for details and selection. BMW Northwest. Driving joy, driving home.
Stream every Seattle sports show with the Seattle Sports app. Brought to you by Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center Proton Therapy. Get new videos, podcasts, and articles on the Seahawks and Mariners from your favorite Seattle sports personalities daily.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids.
Hurry! It's your last chance to donate for 2024.
Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877